Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome in from Indianapolis, Indiana, NFL Combine 2022. Brent Martineau here for another day, and Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios after a TKO win. Who can say that in sports radio? Especially local sports radio. Nobody. Casey Kurtz here for one more day before he gets married. Not too many people saying that this week either. We continue to marry off producers left and right here on ESPN 690. So 3 to 6 will be with you. And obviously a lot of Combine talk. Trent Baalke and Doug Pederson on the podium and off to the side. So if you heard a little of the podium, you did not hear off to the side, and we went in depth with both of those guys from the Jacksonville Jaguars earlier today, in fact, just moments ago. So we have that on the show, and we'll play it all for you coming up throughout the next few hours and discuss. Austin Lane, I don't know if I should lead with no EVP for the Jacksonville Jaguars, at least for the time being, as that's been paused, or John Morant.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. I mean, we're going to have a lot more John Morant for years to come, all right? He's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. So, hey, he had a heck of a game last night. Obviously, I'm going to have it for Slam Poetry on Friday. It's going to be the John Morant Slam Poetry effect. But there's going to be a lot more John Morant to come. And not every single day does your team announce that they're going to not really go for an EVP. After a couple weeks earlier, they announced they are going for an EVP. So I would probably lead off with the EVP news first.
Okay, so we'll go with the EVP. We figured that's a little bit more important. Although I did suggest on our text chain that maybe you should do an NBA Slam Poetry just on Ja today.
Yeah, that's giving me more work, and I like the creative process to kind of flow through me on Friday, so we'll see what happens on Friday.
There will no doubt be a John Morant or two reference, though, coming up on Friday's NBA Slam Poetry. We missed you last week, by the way, with the poetry.
Oh,
so,
I figured you guys would have filled in for me, especially you, Brent.
We just couldn't. We didn't think we could do it.
Okay.
And quite frankly, we didn't want to put in the effort.
Sure.
So that was really
that.
Why.
All right.
So anyway, the big story here to start the day at the Combine. Again, this was Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke's day. A lot of other folks, too. Saw Nathaniel Hackett. The Indianapolis Colts were on the podium. They're still mad about losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So got that going for you, Jags fans. I know that will keep you excited. But the news about 11 o'clock that Ian Rappaport tweeted out, and then Shad Khan issued a statement later on that he is pausing the search for an EVP. If you go back to when they introduced Doug Pederson as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the one refreshing note out of there, the breaking news of that news conference really, about 40 minutes in, at least to the fans and to many others, is that the Jaguars were going to beef up their structure in the front office. And I remember saying at that time, that is something that I've talked to people around the league throughout the coaching search that the Jaguars could do a better job of, whether that's around Baalke from an assistant GM standpoint, having more people in that front office from an EVP standpoint. It looked like the Jags were heading down that direction. Now, they could still hire somebody from an assistant GM standpoint and beef up the structure of their front office, but at least for the time being, not going with the executive vice president role. And Shad Khan confirming that, based off, Austin, that he likes what Doug Pederson especially is doing, but how Baalke and Pederson are working together. And I will say, over the last hour or so, that has been mentioned a lot by especially Doug Pederson, his role in communication and the collaboration so far with the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trent Baalke, so that it's been good. And so they like the idea of not having an EVP, at least for now, is the way they answer the question. They think they've got enough in place to go forward around the draft and free agency and all the decisions that are upcoming, including whether you franchise tag a DJ Chark or a Cam Robinson, which you have the next week to do. But I don't think that sits well, once again, with a fan base that has this angst for the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars and thought there would be a buffer in place to help Doug Pederson out in the football operations, not received warmly again by the fans today.
Well, and I don't think it really should be received warmly, because all we have to go off of Doug Pederson's, his introductory press conference was, the word of Doug Pederson was the word of Shad Khan. And at that time, we were told that, all right, we're going to bring the EVP in, and it's going to be a collaborative effort. Now, I'm not sure that day since now, what exactly transpired? Like, I get it. Shad Khan wants to say he's been very impressed with how Trent Baalke and Doug Pederson have gotten along. Well, are we shocked about that? Shouldn't your GM and head coach be working great together? Like, wasn't that the whole goal in the first place?
Yeah.
Why would you pair somebody together if they're not going to work well together? So, like, that's not breaking news to me. And then Doug Pederson's doing a great job in, turning the culture. Well, that's his job. Like, that's not a shock to me either. Now, keep in mind, the players, like, there hasn't been an official players meeting yet. Like, even, like, the whole structures of culture and goals and all, like, none of that has transpired yet. Now, maybe it's changed in terms of, how people are getting treated in that building. Maybe people are more excited to come to work every single day, whether it's in the office setting or the coaches or whatever the case may be, or a combination of both those. So that's great. But to sit here and say, well, I've been very impressed this past couple weeks with Doug Pederson, what he's been done. The players haven't even been in there yet. Like, how do you know the culture's fixed? I mean, if that's the case and the culture is good, well, then let me go ahead and go on a betting website right now and put all my money on the Jaguars. Because if you fixed it in 3 weeks and the players aren't even there, I'm putting all my money down on a Jaguars Super Bowl this year, I guess.
Yeah, I think I don't know how the players are going to feel about the front office, but I do think the fact that it's just Baalke and Pederson pushing the buttons now isn't something that is going to sit well with at least the fans. We'll see how that sits with the players.
But I want you to get misconstrued here. I'm not saying the players are going to be turned off to the idea there's no EVP. I'm saying that if you're trying to build a culture, you're not going to.
How do you know it's working?
Yeah, you can't tell it's built when the players aren't even in there. That's what I'm trying to say. Nothing with the players, what they think about it. No, I'm just saying, how do you know you have the culture in place when the players haven't really even been in there?
Yeah, and that's fair. And I don't – again, I think there's terminology here that opened the door for Shad on a couple of different ways. Once back at the news conference, he said, we've requested permission to interview for the EVP. That certainly led on that they were really interested in hiring an EVP. Well, he didn't say we were hiring an EVP. We're looking into it is essentially what he said. And then obviously here today in his statement, he says he's pausing. It doesn't mean he's not going to hire one at some point. I still wonder, two things really come out of this for me. One, where March 1st is today. The calendar just flipped. You have a big period of time now with free agency and, again, franchise tag and the combine and the evaluations and then the draft where you hold significant picks. Could the Jaguars make moves to their front office after the draft, which a lot of people do, and that happens in the NFL. Do they just feel like adding something right now over the next 2 months would muddy that process up? I think that's what Shad is trying to say. Is that fact? Is that real? Who knows? If that's the impact of hiring an EVP right now or even an assistant GM, if it would just muddy things up. And do we see something different on May 1st than we have on March 1st in Jacksonville? Because they could add to the culture, change the culture a little bit, or at least the structure of the organization. The other part of this, Austin, and I think what I'm reading and seeing from what Shad's saying and his action today is that he's impressed enough with Doug Pederson that this is going to be very coach-centric led again, once again in this organization. Now, Urban Meyer had control, it felt like, of the entire building. I don't think we're going to get that out of Doug Pederson, but I certainly think now Doug Pederson has cemented himself as a decision-maker in building this roster. I think that's what transpired today. That's the confidence Shad Khan now has. And I'm not saying he's making every decision, but he is certainly making a lot of the decisions and is a heavy influence on the building of this roster in free agency and the upcoming draft.
No, I think so. I mean, Doug Pederson, he came here for a reason. Now, granted, I mean, he wanted to get his toes back in the coaching pool and maybe options were limited. But, regarding of how those talks went, and keep in mind, I think at the point where Doug Pederson got that second call, the Jaguars were pretty desperate, So I think, Doug Pederson maybe had a little more power than even Shad Khan did, because I think the Jaguars needed Doug Pederson more than Doug Pederson needed the Jaguars. Now, it all worked out. It's a match made in heaven. Hopefully it works out. But I absolutely agree. I think Doug Pederson is going to have a lot of power going forward. I think he is going to, try to set this culture and have a pretty big say of how this roster is going to look. And that's okay. I think he's in terms of football savviness, he has shown that, he can get those guys. He can coach very well, and he can win a Super Bowl. So I'm not upset about that at all. I guess just, it's the whole changing of the tune after you say one thing and now you're doing a different thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what the fans and again, it's not only the changing of the or at least the perception of this changing of the mind for Shad Khan. You can make the case, again, I think you can make the case for Shad that he had an open mind on this process. Like, do we need to bring one in? He had actually said in that quote, in that news conference, that he had learned through the interviews, right? He learned through other people that they were interviewing that we could beef up the structure. So I don't think the ship has sailed on that. For whatever reason, the timing bothers Shad right now, and that we don't really know the root of. But I also think, we're all being honest here, and I think Trent Baalke knows this because we continue to ask him about it. It's been a turbulent time in Jacksonville for Trent Baalke, especially over the last few months. And I think if he was not at the centerpiece of what's going on in the personnel department, then I don't think fans would be as, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're not hiring an EVP. This has as much to do with Shad's change of direction as it does about who is still in place. And that has drawn the ire of the fan base going all the way back to November, December, and then, of course, the hiring process. Do you like the idea of Doug Pederson have an impact on the staff? Do you like the idea of if not a coach-centric run organization, a coach-influenced run organization, which is what I think we were getting with Urban Meyer, again, to a different kind of degree. But it looks like we'll get here in Jacksonville that there's trust in Doug Pederson, that he is going to make some of the correct decisions for this organization. No,
I mean, I think, if you look around the NFL, Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, I think a lot of teams that have had success Bill Belichick, obviously, too, but that's a different story. They've had success based off this model. So, no, I'm not turned off to the idea at all. I almost probably embrace it. I would say I probably trust Doug Pederson running the ship more than I do Trent Baalke. So if Doug Pederson has more say, then so be it. I think he's capable of handling that on his plate. So I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, so that is the story of the day here at the NFL Combine. The Jacksonville Jaguars not going to beef up the front office to the degree that we thought they would. I will say this. I don't think this was – I think the Jags investigated this. I think the Jags searched around for this. I think, depending on who I believe, the Jags were pretty close here on adding that piece. So I don't think this was, hey, I just told you what you wanted to hear in the news conference, back whenever that was. I normally would say January, but this one was in February, so early, so just last month. And then, now we didn't even really test that out. We weren't going to do it the whole time. I don't believe that. I think some people probably do believe that, but I don't. I think the Jags were on their way to adding this kind of structure, which also leaves the door open for me to think that they will at some point add this kind of structure. And that's why these next couple of months, how late they are in the process, adding another decision maker potentially to the fold is just not the right idea, at least in Shad's mind right now, or maybe influenced by Baalke and Pederson, what they're telling him inside the building, saying, hey, this is cool if we add it, but let's just get through the draft part, and then we'll add those things later on. I don't know how those discussions took place, but I do think it was a real – I think they were really investigating that position, Austin, and maybe even on the verge of pulling the trigger on something.
Okay, so two things then. What changed?
That's a fair question. Maybe they didn't find what they liked during that investigation. Maybe they got a little cold feet when they were getting closer. I don't know. I don't know. The last part of it is what I just was saying. They are late in the process of all this. They hired late. It doesn't mean they can't be ready, but there's a lot going on inside their building right now to evaluate their own roster. There was putting together the staff, and now get ready for this part, right? The combine, free agency, and putting a plan together. If you bring someone in right now, for the last 3.5 weeks, Trent Baalke and Pederson have been putting together a plan. I think it's fair to wonder, and it might be the right call, if you are muddying that decision-making process up, bringing someone in midstream this close to about getting ready to spend $60 million in free agency. And so I don't know if that's what changed, but I think that's a reasonable curiosity if that happened.
But then here's the question then. If you're going to wait till after the draft, after free agency to bring in an EVP, then what good is that EVP done for the season then? Like what is he going to contribute if free agency is already done? What does he even contribute if the NFL draft is already completed? What does he even contribute if, the roster's already set and, you kind of know how you're going to run the practices and training camp and all that stuff? Then what is the EVP's job necessarily? Because to me, you're just throwing money at something that you don't even need if you wait till after the draft.
Well, I think there's still an oversee. I think maybe it's a longer-term play, I would say, what are they contributing if they come in and you hire one on March 10th? What are they actually contributing toward the draft and free agency when free agency is about to start in like 6 days?
I mean, I would say it would help in terms of, all right, what kind of guys do we want in here? How are we going to set up OTAs? What are we looking for? I think there's a lot of things you can do if you hired a guy right now.
Yeah. And again, I think I'm not dismissing your point. I think it's a fair point. I'm not even sure I'm fully believing what my point. I just think it's a plausibility that how did we get to this point? Of going from an EVP to no EVP, and I do wonder if the timing of everything, and we'll see. Like, listen, I'll be wrong about that part of the explanation if sometime in May, they don't add that position, right? They don't beef up the organization in the structure. Then they just decided we're not doing it, right?
And to me, what it all comes down to is people wanted that phrase EVP because it meant that Trent Baalke could be on thin ice, and if it went bad, then Trent Baalke could easily be replaced.
Yes.
And I've been very adamant. Everything that I've heard these past couple months is that Trent Baalke's not going anywhere, and I still believe that. So, I mean, whether I think Shad Khan did want to bring an EVP in, but in terms of the top priority, I'm not sure if that was ever really how it was presented. I think it was definitely an idea that he had, but to come hell or high water and say, all right, we got to get an EVP in here right now. I don't think they were going scorched earth to try to find an EVP, regardless of what the sources said and all these things. How the guy Rick was the guy from Minnesota. What was his name again?
Spielman. Yeah,
Rick Spielman. That was a hot name being thrown around. I think him and Doug Pederson had a little bit of a history, so you kind of like that, but. That's what people are looking for, right? That's why fans are a little frustrated right now, and people are kind of questioning it because, once again, it kind of reassures the fact that Trent Baalke is going to be our general manager for this year. He's going to have a lot of decisions, and we'll see what it's like going forward.
Yeah, and I will say this. I do believe that. I wondered at the time, even when – remember I told you, I was like, it's kind of weird to me that the Jags didn't do a photo op when Pederson was here and got hired, and it was a Saturday, but it was a very casual introduction to the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I wondered there, I was like, I wonder if there's something bigger here that says, hey, this isn't going to be what it looks like, moving forward for the next 3 years. And Baalke could be a part of, an in and out shuffle at some point if you bring in an assistant GM or an EVP, and then there's a move that's made. Now, they could still bring in an assistant GM at some point. That is how Baalke ended up as the GM. He was an assistant first. But I do agree with you where I don't think he's going anywhere for the 2022 season. That's for sure. I think it's this cements that he's around. He's making all these decisions, and I think he will carry through and then be evaluated at the end of 2022. And I think more, maybe just as much as their win-loss record, their building of the roster, which obviously should be a big part of the evaluation, I think this will be his relationship with Doug Pederson. And right now, if Doug's being transparent with us, which I have no reason to believe he's not, off to the side on the podium. He was very consistent in saying that the relationship has been fantastic with Trent Baalke. So I don't think, Austin, this is like Doug Pederson going to Shad and being like, hey, this isn't going to work. I think instead this is Doug Pederson being, hey, we can make this work. This is going to work. This is going well. We're on the same page. I mean, they were out golfing a couple of days ago together.
Well,
so
I also think it's the fact that if it is going well, which I'm sure it is, bring another person in there. It could, if it's not the right person, could be problems. And then we've spoken on this before with Tom Coughlin, Dave Caldwell, and Doug Marrone. And that was really the downfall to the team. So, I'm not surprised, I want to say. I think an EVP would be good for business because other teams have followed this suit and it's worked out for them. But I get it. If Doug Pederson's happy where he's at, because here's what I think. I think this is more of Doug Pederson's call than it is Shad Khan's call.
I agree with you.
I don't think Shad Khan has looked back and said, oh, you know what? They're really getting along. It's like the movie Step Brothers. You didn't really think they're going to get along, but guess what? They got bunk beds now. They're doing karate in the garage, and all of a sudden they're best friends. Maybe Shad Khan saw that, and maybe he's like, all right, I'm making the decision. No, to me, this is Doug Pederson's decision, and maybe it's a little bit of Trent Baalke's as well, because I do think Shad Khan is really a big Trent Baalke guy. So I think the collaboration with those two guys saying, no, we're all good, that led to the decision more than anything.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Austin. I agree with you. I think this is feedback from Doug Pederson, like, hey, is this going to work? How's this going? If Shad's asking those questions, like, what's the dynamic like? Because you can hire and you think it's going to work, right, based on what the statement and you said earlier in this segment, but you really don't know until they get together on it. And it seems like it's going well and well enough and not just like in a satisfactory let's settle role, that these guys feel like together they can get it done. They don't have to muddy it up. And I would say this, like, we really don't know, and maybe this scares Shad a little bit too. What does a good executive vice president look like? Like, what does it look like? What is it? There's not a ton of them in the league to begin with. They tried the Coughlin thing, to your point. Anybody you hire in an executive vice president role, most of the time, probably doesn't have the experience of being executive vice president. It's just not a role that there's a bunch of resumes that it includes, you know? So I think to your point, you're right. It might have just been like, hey, let's not rush to do this just because we think we need to do it and bring the wrong guy in at the wrong time. And again, I think timing matters here because there are a lot of big decisions on the horizon for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, let's take a break. We come back. We continue to talk about it. What else did Trent Baalke say? What did Doug Pederson say? I will tell you this, and you're not going to like it. I thought it was a very good day here at the Combine for Trent Baalke. And you'll hear a lot from the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But
the Venmo's looking good again.
I knew it was coming.
Season 2, it's money season, baby. I like it, Brett. Congratulations, man. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, you're welcome. I told you weren't going to like it. Yeah. But you'll hear from it, and you can tell if you agree or not. But we'll go in depth on that. You'll hear some sound that you haven't heard if you even caught the podium stuff, because we got Trent Baalke and Doug Pederson off to the side for about 10 minutes each and tried to cover a lot of different topics just with a couple of other reporters in town. So we will get to that. We'll hear from Baalke. We'll hear from Pederson and take you on some of the big stories here at the NFL Combine, with the Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. We're back on ESPN 690 right after this.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Becoming partly sunny today. Milder temperatures this afternoon will reach the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Rather chilly tonight, down into the 40s. But a mostly sunny and mild Wednesday. Highs tomorrow near 75. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Beards Diamonds is locally owned, which means the owners are always on premise to give you the absolute lowest price.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1-to-1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
We are live here in Daly's. On Wednesday, March 2nd, All Elite Wrestling is coming home.
The hottest ticket in town.
The countdown to Revolution is on.
It's going to be a wild and crazy, unpredictable night, I can tell you that.
Will you be there live when AEW Dynamite returns to Daly's Place in Jacksonville?
Look at this. Oh, my God.
The best in the world, CM Punk, MJF.
But I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hangman Page, Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Dr. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Darby Allin, the Icon Sting.
This is Sting!
And all your favorite AEW stars will headline this amazing night of elite professional wrestling action. Don't miss one of the most important shows of the year. Be a part of the AEW Live experience at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTix.com.
The weather is getting better. The Players' Championship, Masters, and more majors are on the way. It's that time of year for golf fever. Play a lot of golf, just don't pay a lot for the golf. Order the 2022 Dream 18 card for just $69. Big discounts on golf all year. Golf courses have raised their rates. You can play for less. The Dream 18 card has even more value in 2022. Discounted rounds at some of the area's best golf courses. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, the Yards added this year. Amelia River Golf Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor as well. Plus, you'll receive free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free hat from Dome Hats, a free shirt at Baker Sports, and a discount on a purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. $69. That's it. Some of the proceeds go to the Dream 18 charities as well. Buy the card at Action Sports Jax, Dream18.com. Supplies are limited. Go to Action Sports Jax, Dream18.com to order the Dream 18 card, the best discount golf card at the best price in town.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. Contact Link to Life at 904-582-3252 or visit lsfhealthsystems.org.
The Big Ten is up, and if you're in the market for an amazing pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, then get ready to start your engine during the Ready, Set, Go event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Choose from 350 pre-owned on the lot and ready to test drive. That's all makes and models. Arlington will even help get you financed. Plus, with Arlington's 30-day exchange program, you get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. It's the Ready, Set, Go event at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
The NFL is on. Key, Jay, and now Max Kellerman.
Here's a guy that you drafted in the first round that you think could potentially be the successor to Aaron Rodgers in the future, but could he at least be a damn backup?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Well, I think so. I think so. And just the short conversations that Trevor and I have had already is just the fact that he's got an offseason now to really kind of relax. You know, it's hard on these young kids that are coming straight from college into this whole sort of rat race with, you know, with all the moving parts through the training camp and a regular season. There's no downtime. So now he finally has time to really, I think, focus on what he did last year, but at the same time kind of rest and heal and really put a good plan together for how we want to attack this season.
That is Doug Pederson here on the podium at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Brent Martineau, Stuart Weber here. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios. Good to have him back after the big win on Sunday. And Casey Kurtz here on a Tuesday as well in the studio. I will tell you this, guys. The Combine is packed again. It is a busy place. I mean, it's been a couple years, obviously, because of last year without it. And this was one of the last events I think we did before the pandemic hit a couple years back. And now there are just a lot of people. I was really surprised to see how many folks were here. And what's even more interesting is some of the coaches aren't showing up. I think it's McVay, Shanahan, and who else did I see? Robert Saleh not coming. And we already talked a little bit about the players not working out. You start to wonder. And in my mind this morning when I was thinking, I'm like, I want to ask Austin this, is it losing its luster a little bit? And then I see the turnout here, and I'm like, well, maybe not.
Well, I mean, when you say losing its luster, I think it's still going to be a giant convention, where you can network and kind of get your name out there. Obviously, from the fan standpoint, I'm sure it does lose a bit of its luster because if you don't have the biggest names, running the 40-yard dash, doing the bench press, taking part in all the drills, well, then, yeah, from the fans' perspective, even from my perspective, it definitely loses some luster.
Yeah, and I think it's more telling, by the way, what you just said, because I look at this as a coaching convention, like almost at the top of the list, and then of course you get the medicals and the evaluations and the interviews, and that's a big part of it. I sound like a broken record, keep saying that, but I find it interesting where staffs aren't here, and I wonder if that becomes a trendy thing. And if that's the case, then is it really as important as it used to be, or we've made it out to be? Now, again, it's 3 out of 32, and some of these folks don't even have first-round picks.
Yeah, and it should be 2 out of 32, because give Sean McVay some credit here. The guy's just won a Super Bowl. Give him some time off, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I mean, Salah should probably be there, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was the one that caught my attention, right? And he said he felt like they were a little bit behind. And then I started relating it to Doug, and I asked Doug about it. You'll hear a little later, and he thought it was important to be here and the staff to be here. But if anybody's behind, it's got to be the Jags and, like, the Texans, right? The Dolphins. Like, those are 3 organizations that hired very late.
Yeah.
And you'd think they could be behind a little bit, and maybe it would have been more advantageous to stay home.
For sure.
Seriously, and get some of the schematics and the looking at talent and all those things done. Though I will say, I think the interviews are really important. I think that's the part the Jags have missed at over the years, quite frankly. I'm not saying here at the Combine, but I think the judge of talent, character, mix, all of that, not to everybody, but at times is what this organization has missed on. I mean, C.J. Henderson, when did they miss on C.J. Henderson? He might be a talented football player, but there are some things there that obviously allowed him to stay in Jacksonville for a shade over a year, and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's a miss from a character standpoint or a red flag standpoint that you're supposed to be able to identify at places like this.
No, without a doubt. I mean, that's why I still think there is a sense of importance, even if these players aren't working out. I mean, usually the way it goes now, maybe it's changed since I've been in school, but what happens is you have your regional scouts during the college football season, and they meet with the players a little bit. Now, maybe with COVID and things, it was different, but the way it went for me is you talk to regional scouts, during the season, whether it's after practice, before practice, but you just kind of meet with them a little bit. They get a vibe for you, and, they ask you some football questions and just kind of get a gauge for your personality type. They take that information back to HQ, back to, their respected offices, and kind of share things with what they found with, the head scout and then the GM as such. And then they kind of conduct their grading from there of what they heard from the scouts, what they see on film, watching you play in college. And then you take that information, you take that to the Combine or the Senior Bowl, and then you do these interviews with these players, and you kind of see where everything checks out. I mean, coaches have a great idea of where these players are already going to go based off film alone and just, talking maybe. But then you get a real good sense of what these guys are about. But, yeah, they're good football players. But can they be a good football player for your team? Can their personality fit your team? Can their playing style fit your team? And that's kind of where you find out more in the meetings, in the interviews. So the fact that, some coaches aren't there taking full advantage of that, it does make you wonder a little bit. But once again, there's going to be pro days. You can probably do that. I think, teams are also privileged to have the invites. You invite a couple players. I did that with Tim Tebow and Brandon Spikes and a couple other guys for the Buffalo Bills. We did that. And I talked to coaches. So there's a way to circumnavigate, not being at the Combine. But to me, it's the easiest thing. I mean, now you're putting more work and more stuff on your plate because now you got to circumnavigate. Well, how do we get interviews with these guys if we're not going to be at the Combine?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a fair point. One note on Sean McVay, by the way, I do wonder if, they said, hey, listen, chill out, right? I wonder if they told him because they know he wants to work on, I guess the story has been about his work-life balance. And then it was a story that Amazon came after him with $100 million, something crazy.
Okay.
And so I wonder if they just said, hey, you stay back, we're going to help you on this work-life balance stuff. We got this, And again, it's not like they've traded away all their picks anyway, so they don't have a lot of decisions to make. But be interested on that front. Hey, let's get Steven on the line. I think he wants to talk a little Evan Neal. Steven, what's happening, man?
Hey, not too much. How are you guys doing today?
We are good.
Doing good, man.
First of all, Austin, congrats on your match.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Didn't end the way you want it, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. My main question is, and Austin, you might have a better perspective on this since you played the game and you were at the combine and everything like that. The thing with Evan Neal, he opted out, which is to work out and everything like that. Now, everybody else is talking about showing, hey, Charles Cross might be number one. Iquanu might be number one or whatever. But from what I'm understanding, you got Charles Cross as an elite pass blocker, not the best run blocker. Iquanu, awesome run blocker, but he works in his own scheme, which is what Pederson runs, and can, get a little better at pass blocking. And Evan Neal has versatility playing 3 different positions on the line, and he's kind of, pretty good at both. I mean, but not being there and working out, do you think that might hurt him at all with the other guys, plus Aiden Hutchinson being able to show off at the Combine?
All right, man, it's a great question. Thank you very much. So what I believe is that Evan Neal here made a business decision because, like I just got done talking about, the most important thing you can do if you're a college football player is have the film. And now I haven't watched a lot of offensive line film yet in preparation for Shock Your Mock, but you better believe I'll check the tape, all right? I'll watch the film in preparation. But I'm willing to bet that if you turn on the film right now of every offensive lineman in this year's draft and what they bring to the table in terms of film, I bet Evan Neal against, arguably the best talent in the conference in the SEC is going to shine above everybody else, right? So then it comes down to, well, what are you looking for? Does he fit schematically? Well, he's played more than one position before. He's very versatile. So you like that as well, regardless of who the team is that's trying to draft him. So I think Evan Neal made a decision to say, you know what, I'm the number one guy in this draft in terms of offensive line. Now, obviously being number one overall means something to him as well, but to me, it's got to line up perfectly. Like, the stars have to align. Do the Jaguars re-sign Cam Robinson? All this stuff, right? There's a lot that goes into that Evan Neal can't control if he's going to be number one or not. So all he can control right now is his work rate and how he goes about this process. And I think he's going about it saying, I'm the best guy in terms of offensive tackles in this draft. I don't got to go out here. I can do my pro day and still show off the same stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm coming around on those tackles a little bit more than I was, Austin. I have not been as hot on those guys as everybody else. I still think pass rusher should really be in play for the Jags and is not getting enough attention at how much they need pass rusher. And I think there's more risk involved there with Hutchinson and Thibodeau. But you can't discount that they need it, and they certainly do. And they need it maybe even more than they need a left tackle, quite frankly. But I'm starting to wonder if the safe play and the best play and to hammer home and hit on that number one overall pick and still a position of need is to beef up that offensive line. You can check a lot of boxes, right? Maybe these are 2 can't-miss prospects, and let's just call it Iquanu and Neal. And if they are, and they're looked at that way and they check that way and they're going to be that way, well, then I can't fault an organization for trying to go get a blue-chip guy and solidify a spot that helps your young quarterback too and strengthens your offensive. My beef with the offensive tackle play has always been, okay, what are you doing with Walker Little? Well, talking to Trent Baalke today, it seems like I think they're going to be pretty flexible with a guy like Walker Little, whether they have to move him to the right or left, or even if it is a guy like Neal who could play multiple positions as he did at Alabama. So as long as that's in play, I've always said this. I say, I don't care who the Jags pick at number one, but if somebody they pick bumps Walker Little out of the lineup, I'm not sure that makes any sense to me, given what Baalke and company did last year, drafting him in the second round. So to me, that's always been okay, that's fine, but what about Walker? And if you explain to me that Walker's going to then move to the right side or whatever and not be on the sideline, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. And if you look more and more at these guys up on the left side or the offensive front with Iquanu and Neal and what everybody's saying about them and how much experience they have, which you really like too, then I see why everybody's enamored with it. And building in front of Trevor is certainly not a bad thing. And it might be the safest play. It might be a conservative play and a really smart play for the Jags to make sure they don't miss. Because we all know this, Austin. The Jags have missed plenty in the top 10, and quite frankly, they can't afford to do it again.
So is that where – because, I mean, man, I'm gone for 5 days, and I feel like you're changing your tune now in terms of what you want out of this draft and how you're more open to an offensive lineman. So – have you changed your reasoning because you think it is a safe play and it's probably the best bet? Or like what's led to kind of you thinking, this way now? 2
things I think in my psyche about this, if they were to go left offensive lineman, is the flexibility of the position for both Walker Little and say a Neal, right? If you wanted to move him around. I mean, Neal, played 3 different positions, I think, at Alabama and did them well.
Well, now keep in mind, Walker Little he's only played left tackle.
They obviously have a comfortability of him playing right, and I think he did actually play a little bit of right tackle.
In college?
I thought he did.
Okay. Maybe
but
I'm wrong.
Either way, what it would say to me is that they are comfortable moving him to that side. Okay? And that's the explanation I would be looking for. And what Trent told us is that, when you have those big guys, the more value you get out of them if they can play multiple positions, which made it pretty obvious that they drafted Walker Little with the idea that he could play multiple positions if needed. And so I think they feel that way about Walker Little. The other part of it is I do think, yes, it's more conservative route and they can't miss. I think the Jags on Thibodeau or the Jags even on Hutchinson, although Thibodeau seems to be the more risky guy, I guess I'm a little scarred and maybe afraid of what the Jags could do there, even though I think there's a certain need for them to get help at the pass rusher spot, which they could address in free agency. And maybe it's easier to address that in free agency, Austin, than it is to address offensive line in free agency.
So it says, and I'm just trying to catch up, so Walker Little came in as a freshman and started at left tackle, I believe.
He was at left tackle the whole time.
Yeah, he's the first true freshman to start at left tackle.
And then he missed a couple of years, obviously, injury and COVID.
And listen, not to say that he can't play right tackle, but, you played, and once again, I'm not sure if he has or not, but, I'm just reading this article here. I mean, if you played the left side your entire career, now you ask him to go to the right side, in a perfect world, that's going to work out. But how do we know?
Yeah. And that's why I like Evan Neal a little bit, I think, more than Aquanu or whatever, because we've seen it at the highest of levels, him playing multiple spots. And so maybe they move him over to the right side. But my big beef with the offensive tackle has, over these last couple months, and everybody mocking them, has been, okay, well, what are you doing with Walker Little? Why did you waste a second-round draft pick then on a guy who's going to be a swing depth player? That doesn't make sense in the second round. Mm-hmm. And Baalke, by the way, is a guy that did that. And now Baalke's going to be the guy picking this guy number 1. Well, you can't do both. You can't put Walker Little on the bench, or you're admitting that 3 games into his career you made a bad choice. That would be not good. All right, let's take a break. We're at the NFL Combine 2022. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. We continue on ESPN 690 right after this.
Brian Middleton here. Listen, if you're a fan of Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane, then I have a treat for you. Every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, your sports talk fix gets 1 more hour of greatness with Action Sports Jax Overtime with Casey Kurtz and myself. We're breaking down local and national sports, and with segments like Cash It or Trash It, vague headlines, and I Said What I Said, every moment is action-packed. So remember, every Monday and Thursday after Action Sports Jax, stick around for Action Sports Jax Overtime from 6 to 7 right here on ESPN 690.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
If you've been injured on the job and are not receiving the benefits you're entitled to, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
This is Robert Palmer, president of RP Funding. With home values at an all-time high, it's a great time to turn your home equity into cash and get a closing cost credit from RP Funding. Call 855-773-8634.
Terms and conditions apply. We must 7168 equal housing.
Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't Safe Touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what Safe Touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And Safe Touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the Safe Touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the Safe Touch surveillance system with 3-color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the 2-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
The weather is getting better. The Players' Championship, Masters, and more majors are on the way. It's that time of year for golf fever. Play a lot of golf, just don't pay a lot for the golf. Order the 2022 Dream 18 card for just $69. Big discounts on golf all year. Golf courses have raised their rates. You can play for less. The Dream 18 card has even more value in 2022. Discounted rounds at some of the area's best golf courses. Golf Club at Southampton, St. John's Golf and Country Club, Hidden Hills, Osprey Cove, the Yards added this year, Amelia River Golf Club, Eagle Landing, Fleming Island Golf Club, and Queens Harbor as well. Plus, you'll receive free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free hat from Dome Hats, a free shirt at Baker Sports, and a discount on a purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. $69. That's it. Some of the proceeds go to the Dream 18 charities as well. Buy the card at Action Sports Jax, Dream18.com. Supplies are limited. Go to Action Sports Jax, Dream18.com to order the Dream 18 card, the best discount golf card at the best price in town.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. Contact Link to Life at 904-582-3252 or visit lsfhealthsystems.org.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to tap into human emotion, first with some music. Then in a serious tone, I'll say, save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. And even though it was about saving money with Progressive, we'll fade out the music so you know it was poignant. Wow, powerful stuff. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. And MLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
I just think coming in and being me, you know, in the relationship that Trent and I have built and continue to build every single day. And I think it speaks volumes what our owner has said, and he's really given the confidence to Trent and I to really build this thing. And you know, not to say we can't continue to add value in the personnel department, which we could still do that. But at the same time, it just shows the confidence that he has, and really just me being me, you know, from day one, and showing people there who I really am.
That is Doug Pederson, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, by the way, has I think made an impact in the building already. The word on Doug is he's a really good guy. You can't get anybody to say otherwise, which is cool. If you've been listening to our show, I feel like the Jags need some of that. Not that they have bad people in their organization, but I think the more good and the good, genuine people you have is the better, coming off what just happened over the last year or even two. And so Pederson seems like he's certainly making that kind of difference. And this is his football team, and in my estimation, it's his franchise along with Trevor Lawrence's. Like, we talk about Trent Baalke so much, and I understand he's part of it and a big part of it, so I'm not dismissing it. But in my estimation, this is now Doug Pederson and Trevor Lawrence and their organization going forward, and can they help flip it? And, again, Baalke's going to have to be a part of that the way it sits right now, as the big news today coming out of the Combine from Shad Khan. He issued a statement as well, is the EVP search will be paused, at least for now. Brent Martineau at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios. Casey Kurtz there as well. All right, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on it, man, but Ja Morant, everywhere I looked today, Ja Morant. That play was unbelievable. And
which one?
You say, which one?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Which one was more unbelievable to you?
Oh, it's the dunk all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's probably going to be the dunk of the year.
Casey?
Ja Morant, dunker shot.
Didn't see either of them.
Oh, wow. The disrespect.
Wow. Casey.
The disrespect.
Casey, these wedding plans are getting in the way.
Yeah, bro. Rumor has it I have a lot going on.
That's true.
I guess so.
Not watching Ja Morant highlights.
Oh, wow. But you should, though. It's entertaining. By the way, are you going to miss it? Wait, hold on, man. When are you leaving? Tomorrow?
Today.
Yeah. You're missing the Batman movie.
You guys will have to wait for me.
Cancel the call off the wedding.
Call off the wedding.
Dude, have you seen the reviews so far, Casey? It's a 3-hour
really
thrill ride.
Yep.
I've heard it's really good.
I'm going to see it without you. I'm going to spoil it. Sorry.
If you guys both go without me, I'm not coming back.
Brent's not going to go.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah, Brent's
I'll
not
be
going.
at some softball or baseball game probably.
Yeah, I'm going. Sorry.
Casey, by the way, you got to do your homework on Ja Morant here, just because his card might have gone up like threefold last night.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to break some news to you, bro. One game is not going to change it. His card is already astronomical right now.
Who you telling?
Has it been?
Yes. Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, okay, real quick. He's getting in the MVP talk now. Here's another thing you'll like, Casey. He's still like the 5th best odds to win the MVP, I think. Does that surprise you guys?
I mean, who do you got? You got
Embiid.
Embiid. You got Giannis, Steph Curry. Where's DeRozan?
I don't know. I didn't see the list. I just saw that he was the 5th highest.
Yeah. Mean, right after the All-Star break, I'm not surprised because he was out for a decent amount of time, so I'm not surprised by that.
Okay. I'm starting to think he's going to get some heavy momentum down the stretch to win that thing.
I mean, the
based
way the
off
Grizzlies,
these kind of plays.
Well, yeah, the way the Grizzlies are playing. I mean, he put up 40 a couple of nights ago, and he puts up 52. Obviously, a new career high for him. Yeah, he's going to make it very hard if the Grizzlies keep rolling not to consider him for the MVP, which is wild because we're talking about a guy who's in his second year right now.
He's at year 3, isn't he?
Oh, is it year 3?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
By the way, I disagree with you. The dunk's unbelievable, but I think we get like immune to great dunks sometimes.
But it's the dunk of the year.
Well, yeah, I guess it's just like it was a great dunk, but I feel like I could find like a lot of. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen the shot he hit on the baseline. Have you ever seen that shot that executed? And by the way, the guy that's not getting enough credit is the guy who threw it in too.
Sure,
it was a heck of a throw.
Yeah,
but
I feel like anybody given that opportunity could try to make that shot. There's maybe a couple of guys in the NBA that can accomplish that dunk.
I guess. So that's how good the plays were, right?
No,
it's
for
up
sure.
for debate.
But yeah, let me ask you this: how many attempts would you need to make that shot that Ja Morant made?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like you actually are saying that I could probably make that shot.
I think if you had enough attempts, yes.
Yeah, I hear you, and I know I could not do the other one. You're right.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just think from you don't see it. It was 0.4 seconds to go. Like, that's impossible. And then he's fading out of bounds. Like, it would have been a good shot if it was within the shot clock.
Yeah.
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 So, It's the one that caught my attention a little bit more. You know, I thought this one more point on John Morant. He is now to the point, he's become the guy, and Curry's a little bit like this, especially this year and at times in his career, where I don't even watch a lot of NBA, yet I get up and I'm like, what did he do today?
Sure.
You know?
Yep.
Like, that's a different that's like you're in a different stratosphere when you're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron did it for a lot of times early in his career. Michael did it, you know. But now in this highlight-driven world, you're like, I want to see, how many did Ja have last night, and what did he do?
Yeah.
Because he scored 50-plus, or scored 52, and had 2, like, all-world plays in the same game.
Well, I mean, he dunked on a guy that's 7'1". Yes. I don't know what more you want from that guy.
And I'll give you one more thing that went through my head, Austin. John Morant is everything Zion Williamson was supposed to be in terms of what I just said, waking up every day and seeing what did he do.
Yeah.
So at least they got one guy from that draft doing it.
No, for sure. And meanwhile, people are on a float making fun of Zion Williamson in his hometown. So, not his hometown, but because,
Mardi Gras, not so Mardi Gras for Zion. But it does beg, can you imagine if we get both those guys playing at a high level?
It's going to be crazy.
If Zion come back, I mean, boy, how big would that be for the league?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, John Morant, 2 cents. And Casey, do not get married until you watch those 2 plays, please. I don't care what you have to do.
That's a Brent Martin order, Casey, coming at you.
Don't get married until you do that.
I'm still seeing Batman, though. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We caught up with Trent Baalke today off to the side. So if you've heard some of the podium stuff, the sound that's kind of floating around, well, you haven't heard this yet, and you'll hear it when we come back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
On average, an artificial limb for a child starts at $5,000, and the first prosthetic for an adult can cost up to $50,000, making it nearly impossible for disabled children or veterans to afford the limb they need. At Life Giving Limbs, we cover the cost of these prosthetics, giving recipients a chance at receiving a new limb and a new start on life. Please help by donating now. Visit lifegivinglimbs.com or call 469-601-8523.
Are you getting engaged, celebrating an anniversary, or birthday? You're in luck.
It's Beard's Diamond's most exceptional finance offer of the year.
5 years, 0% financing with nothing down.
Yes, shop Beard's Diamond's everyday low price on anything in the store or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Then divide your total price by 60, and that's your monthly payment with absolutely nothing down.
How about a $6,000 3-stone designer setting?
You pay only $100 a month.
Or a $4,500 1-carat diamond solitaire pendant necklace.
You pay just $75 a month.
And every purchase at Beard's Diamonds is backed by our free lifetime warranty.
Now you can go bigger and get her the diamond ring she's always dreamed about.
And spread your payments out for 5 years and pay absolutely nothing in interest.
But hurry, Beard's Diamond's incredible 5 years interest-free financing with nothing down is available for a limited time only.
Shop now at beardsdiamonds.com or at the St. John's Town Center.
Get the lowest prices on diamonds in Jacksonville, guaranteed, at Beard's Diamonds.
The Big Ten is up, and you know what that means. Get ready, get set, go to Arlington Toyota for the Ready, Set, Go event going on now. Leave it to our friends over at Arlington to have over 500 new Toyotas available with inventory arriving daily. You also get a lifetime warranty plus 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. And with 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 14,000 Google reviews, you know you'll be one happy customer. Don't wait. Shop the Ready, Set, Go event in Arlington's state-of-the-art showroom or online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Oh, it was unbelievable. All the fans, I mean, it was packed. I haven't seen a stadium that packed since before COVID, so it was really cool. The fans were super engaged. It was a really cool experience, something I've never been a part of. So, I'm excited. I love that the Jags play this game at least one every year. So I'm excited to come back, and the fans were awesome. So thank you guys, all the Jags fans and all the American football fans in London. Appreciate y'all.
I was starting to think, I was like, where's that sound coming from with Trevor Lawrence? But that was from back when the Jaguars won a game against the Miami Dolphins in London. And Trevor talking about London. Well, we know this. The Jaguars will get a chance to do that again, and they will be a home team. That was announced yesterday. No surprises. Now, who will they play? And speculation is, well, whatever you want to make it. I think the big hope is the Jaguars get a divisional opponent over there because the Jags have some pretty good teams and draws on the schedule that don't often come around. The last time, there's been times over the years in London where whether it's the NFL or the Jags or whoever want that, maybe that traditional team. Cowboys have played over there. 49ers have been over there before. So I think there's a big part of the fan base hoping that that's not a ticket that goes away. And coming off 4 wins in 2 years, I think the Jags organization probably wants one of those marquee games to be in Jacksonville as well. So that will help ticket sales, I would think. Just from a theoretical standpoint. Brent Martineau here at the NFL Combine 2022 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Austin Lane, Action Sports Jax Studios, along with Casey Kurtz. What do you think, Austin? Do you think it matters who plays over there, or are you rooting for one of those teams we see all the time to end up in London? Yeah, I'm absolutely rooting for a team that we see every single year, because like you said, you do have some interesting teams coming into town, and in terms of revenue, in terms of, an atmosphere, it could be very fun. So I think I'm going to pull for Jags-Titans Thursday Night Football from London. Hey, I'm trying to think of that. Wait a minute, as you say that. No, I'm sure the time would be. That's what I was trying to think. It's going to be some breakfast. It'll be fun. Yes, you could play. Yeah. You basically got to play at, let's see, if you're talking about an 8 o'clock start, like 2 in the morning. Yeah, tea, crumpets, and Titans. Let's go. It has to go the other way. That's why we've had breakfast from London before, because it's in the afternoon over there. I'm looking at Frank Reich talking. I don't know if he's talking right now or did before. Is he crying? But also Ballard, the GM of Indianapolis, talked earlier today too, and it was interesting just to hear some of it because we were over there. He talked right before, I think, Doug Pederson, and it was really interesting to just see how defensive he still has to be right now about the way the season ended for the Colts, and obviously the Jags were smack dab in the middle of that. But I mean, he is still like, you would have thought the game ended yesterday. He's still pretty fired up about that. Yeah. Well, Brent, when you have a winning culture and a winning tradition and expectations aren't reached, that's what happens. Don't worry. We're going to get there one day. Like, I mean, that's what I'm praying for. Like, we at least get to the point where maybe we get heartbroken in the last game of the season, but at least we got heartbroken for a reason, Like, I would kill for what the Colts fans are going through. The other part is, I think Bruce Arians just said it, and I think other people are saying it, that they don't predict there will be as much movement amongst the quarterbacks as everybody else has kind of said. Do you fall into that trap, or do you think we're going to get a bunch of movement on these, the Russell Wilsons, Aaron Rodgers, maybe Carson Wentz, maybe Deshaun Watson, all those quarterbacks. Are we going to get some movement there, or do you fall in line with maybe what Arians is saying and others that there's probably not going to be as much movement as you think?
Well, first of all, I'm not surprised that the guy that needs the most quarterback movement, Bruce Arians, is saying that there's not going to be quarterback movement. I think that's what we call setting a smoke screen a little bit. So, no, I think there is going to be some movement. I mean, because doesn't Arians need quarterback movement to be successful?
Well, yeah, but he does. But he's basically saying, well, wouldn't you think he would kind of advocate for it then?
But then what could it – so if you're Bruce Arians and you need another quarterback, are you going to come out and say, well, it's going to be a hot market, hang on to your seatbelts, or are you going to try to play it cool and be like, it probably won't be, we're all good? You know, I think, playing it cool and playing it close to the chest is definitely going to be a lot better than coming out and saying, oh, yeah, we're very interested in a new quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you're right there. We'll see. I thought also, Denver was the first one on the podium today, and it was a massive crowd because, the Aaron Rodgers play is really one of the biggest dominoes that has to fall. What's Green Bay going to do? Of course, Davante Adams is a big part of that as well, but it was pretty telling that how many people attended the Denver media session for 15 minutes. Nathaniel Hackett up there as well, but that is definitely the big piece. The big story here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, no EVP, at least for now. It's paused by Shad Khan, and obviously likes what he's seeing inside the building with Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke. What do the fans have to see from Baalke, Austin, to come around on him? Will they ever? Or is this going to be, hey, the Jags won 9 games in spite of? Or is this going to need a 9-game or 10-win season, turn it around, and then also his draft picks from last year and this year playing well to maybe turn around the angst toward the Jaguars GM from the fan base I'm talking about?
No, I think from the fan – I think that the fan base and my opinion about it, I would assume are pretty similar. You need to have success on the field. You need to have winning records. You need to have winning seasons. And you need to start making a playoff push. The beauty in that is that if you are drafting well, if you are getting great free agents, if you are, if you're facilitating great trades, well, then that's going to happen, right? So it all kind of falls underneath the same umbrella where if this team's going to have success, it's because Trent Baalke or Doug Pederson, whatever the combination is going to be, is drafting well, because they are trading well, because they are getting free agents, and that's going well. So to me, it's all about the overall record and what it looks like on the field.
So it's doable?
I mean, if you're a playoff contending team in 2 years, then absolutely. Like I think people, will forget pretty quickly because I think Doug Pederson does have that power to overshadow things. But until that time, it's kind of I'm going to believe it when I see it.
Yeah. So let me set the scene here because we're about to listen to Trent Baalke talk, and I honestly will say I thought he was terrific today. I thought he was more transparent than I've seen him. I didn't think he was as on the press conference day, he was pretty, you could tell he had just come off a heck of a month and a half. I think he's now doing business, and you almost got the sense that he's more relaxed than already a few of us here. But even on the podium, where there were more than a few of us locally, I thought he was pretty good and like I said, more transparent. So to set the scene, Trent Baalke talked at about 1 o'clock today to the media. That could be anybody, and there was a pretty good contingent asking questions to Trent Baalke. And then after that, we got Trent, some of the local media off to the side. So it was ESPN's Mike DiRocco and also John Reed from the Florida Times Union and myself. And so you're going to hear those guys asking questions as well. But I thought that you'd like to hear from Baalke what he said about some of the criticism, what he said about free agency, what he said about what they have to do from a culture standpoint to turn this thing around. Here's Trent Baalke earlier today from the NFL Combine on a bunch of different topics with some of the local media.
Like I told a few others, we have one tag to use. Will we exercise it? That remains to be seen. We still got a week to make that decision, so I'm not going to put any restriction on the club one way or another. I think it's to our advantage to use it if needed, and if we don't need to use it, we won't.
But that plays a huge role into what you do at 1, though, right? If you bring Cam back, You know what I mean?
There's a lot of things that can happen between the tag, free agency, and then obviously the draft. So we know what we need to do. We've had a lot of internal discussions, and we have a young man that we drafted last year in the second round that we feel really comfortable with as well. So we do have options. But the one thing that we need to do and as we move forward is make sure that the one thing lacking in terms of the roster and where we're at is as you look at our roster, there's very few players that are second contract Jaguars. And that's something that has to change. If we want to change the culture of Jacksonville and the direction of the organization, it's going to start there. It's going to start by drafting well, developing well, and getting guys into their second contracts.
So DJ's coming back then.
Again, I think it's very important for everyone to understand that has to be the focus. If we're not drafting well and developing well and getting guys into their second contract with the Jaguars, then it's going to be tough to turn this thing around.
Is DJ tricky there, though? Because is he a tough he's a guy he drafted. He had a Pro Bowl with the organization, but he's been injured up and down. And is it hard to judge the market on what he's going to be?
I think that's fair to say that it's hard to judge the market, and the market is what it is, right? It's predicated on what others value the player at. So I think as we look into it and have discussions with DJ and all of our current Jaguars, it's how do we get the organization to be put in a position where we're keeping our own, right? And especially when they've earned the right to be there. And that's the key, is have they earned the right to that second contract? And if we're doing a good job of drafting and doing a good job of developing, then the answer to that question is going to be yes more than it's not.
You take a look at Little, you mentioned Walker Little, and even in this draft, is there a lot of flexibility with players at the top of the draft and even Walker at where they could play on the line, or do you want to stick them in a certain spot?
I think anytime you can get a player at any position that has versatility, it benefits the organization. We try to stay, and if you go back to my track record in San Francisco, it was always to draft guys that were versatile players, that weren't locked into one position or another. The more they can do, the more opportunity they can provide in terms of moving around, if it's a D lineman, across the line of scrimmage at different techniques. If it's an offensive lineman, can they play guard? Can they play tackle? Are they only left? Are they only right? The guy that has the versatility to play anywhere obviously has more value to the organization than the one that's locked into one position, unless that one position happens to be where he's really a great player at.
With the availability of some of the guys in free agency at receiver and a good group of receivers coming out, is this a chance to really get those explosive guys and make some significant strides at that position?
I think we have to make a commitment to doing that in both areas, whether that's free agency or the draft. I think the commitment of the organization to explore all options in those areas is vital.
How aggressive will you be in free agency?
Very aggressive.
Not value?
Well, I mean, very aggressive within reason, right? I mean, it's what you can't get into a habit of doing is go, and we've seen this. We've seen it played out, multiple times where you go into free agency and you have a need and you way overpay to fill that need. And then a year later, you're disappointed and you move on from the player. We can't get in those situations. We have to be smart. We have to identify the right players. Hopefully, recruit the right players in free agency or draft the right players in the draft that fill those needs. But you can't turn a $4 million play. You can't pay $11 million for a $3 million player. Over time it doesn't work. And really, what does that say to your locker room? And again, I go back to that same mentality where we've got to draft, develop, and re-sign and get our own players under their second contracts so we don't have to go outside into free agency to fill major needs.
I'm actually thinking, man, how do you handle you've been under the fire for a while. How do you handle all that? Man?
Does it bother you?
Huh?
Does it bother you?
Well, I mean, not really, but...
Doesn't bother me either.
I mean, you used to
Well, I mean, am I used to it? I think it's part of the business. Do I, you have a job to do as reporters. I have a job to do. My focus has never been on what you put out there or anybody else puts out there. You have a job to do. I respect that job. My job is to look out for the best interests of the organization. I don't worry about myself. I can take care of myself. I've done it for 58 years. I can handle that. I'm more, my focus is on the organization and what we need to do. And sometimes, what you believe as a reporter or the fan believes is the right thing to do, if you really sit down and look at it, it probably isn't the right thing to do. So and if you start doing everything and reacting to everything the fans or reporters want you to do, pretty soon you'll be sitting with them, right? Because you're not going to always make the right decision for the organization. And that's how I look at it, So I respect the jobs that you guys have to do and the gals have to do. But at the end of the day, it's bigger than that. It's about the organization.
You can handle it, but it's tough family-wise and all that. I mean, they hear it.
Yeah, they've been raised right. They understand what to listen to, what not to, and that's just part of it. If you want to swim in this pond, you got to be able to take it. So it is what it is, and I'm moving forward. But the one thing I do appreciate is the passion that the Jaguar fan base has. They're tired. They want to win, and we want to win. So we're in this thing together, and I don't know that they always recognize how blessed they are to have an owner that's willing to do what it takes to win. Now, has it happened yet? No, not enough. It's 1 year, 2017, but it's coming. It is coming.
You just mentioned something that's pretty interesting about the locker room, what free agent money sometimes says, what guys earning the second contract sometimes says. How prevalent is that can throw off the culture in when you bring a guy in for $80 million and nobody really knows who he is, versus a guy who's been there for 4 or 5 years?
Well, the one thing that players know is they know who can play and who can't. You put on the film and they know. So when you bring in somebody from the outside and you take care of them financially, and you may not have done that to several of your own over time, and all of a sudden you pop on the film and that person's not living up to that expectation, it's damage control. It really is. So all of that stuff has to be factored into decisions, and that's why you go back to the fan base wanting X or Y or Z in the locker room. Well, that's some of the things they don't really recognize or totally understand, but I can assure you that the players in that locker room understand it.
Do you worry that there's any kind of hangover inside the organization from everything that's gone on last year, whether that's locker room, staff, you know what I mean? I mean, it was a hell of a dysfunctional year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of resolve in an NFL locker room. I think these guys they're pros, coaches are pros, personnel staff are pros. You understand that that's part of the business. Sometimes things aren't going to work out, and you got to move forward. And again, it's how fast can you shift your focus from the past to the present to the future. I've never been one to live in the past. I live in the future, right? And I live in the present and live in the future. If you're worried about the past, you're worrying about the wrong things, because you can't control it, you can't change it, right? So your focus has to be on what's ahead of us.
You got to admit, though, there hasn't been a past like last year anywhere.
Again, if I sit here and dwell on the past, it's going to keep me from moving forward, and I'd rather move forward. And I think the fan base wants to move forward. I know internally we all want to move forward, and that's no disrespect to anybody that was there in the past, but it's time to move forward, and that's what we're choosing to do.
Coach introduced you to hunting, or you've been hunting before?
I've been hunting my whole life, hunting and fishing. So I grew up in southern Wisconsin. I still have a home in northern Wisconsin. So I love to hunt, I love to fish, I love to be on the water. So anything outdoors, I'm up for.
Well, that is Trent Baalke earlier today here at the NFL Combine, talking to myself, also ESPN's Mike DiRocco, and the Florida Times Union's John Reed. And I thought he was pretty good there. And by the way, even up at the podium, to say stuff like, hey, we got in common, we like hunting and fishing, we went out and played golf, like that doesn't do anything for the fan base. It's like, but those are things like, we don't even know Trent Baalke, you know, like he let us in for a second, which is like, okay, well, that's good. But now for the more, you know, the stuff that's most important. And I don't know if anything caught your ear there, Austin, but he obviously ran down a list of things from the franchise tag to free agency to – I thought he said a lot about culture, and it was pretty interesting because I always go back in the back of my mind. It's always you telling me what the money says, right? And we talked about this recently on the show. Part of Jalen Ramsey, you know, getting out the problems with Jalen Ramsey, I think stemmed from the amount of money the Jags brought in 2017 and what he was getting paid despite what he was doing on the field. And he's a guy, much like I guess Kyler Murray would be in this situation right now, that wanted to be paid early. And the Jags weren't going to do it. And I think that kind of started the snowball of bad around Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville. Well, Trent Baalke basically is talking about that there, that said, hey, you got to be careful about bringing big money guys in that don't perform well because it doesn't do well in your locker room. And more importantly, we got to draft, develop, and then sign. And I think it's fascinating he says that right now and is very consistent. And I understand the approach. That's been the approach of GMs all over the league for a long time. But they have three guys that they could put in that conversation here soon. One is Cam Robinson. What are they going to do with him? DJ Chark. What are they going to do with him? And they could even, if they chose to, sign a guy like Josh Allen early or give him a fifth-year option. So they have three players that watch what they do with those guys, considering what Trent Baalke said about getting those second contracts for guys that they drafted and developed.
Yeah, it's important. You know, I mean, I enjoyed how he gave the outlook of how he's looking at this whole thing, and he doesn't really seem to care what the outside noise is saying, and nor should he. But if we're talking about the X's and O's, we're talking about the game of football, and I appreciate how he's approaching in terms of free agency of trying to re-sign guys. Of course you have to do that. Anybody can tell you have to do that. What I don't agree with, though, is his philosophy with the first-round pick in terms of versatility. We have a giant fundamental difference there. Because he is a component of saying you need to have versatility no matter where it is in the draft because that's going to help your team. I think that versatility is a byproduct of value and not priority. I think when the Cleveland Browns drafted Joe Thomas, they didn't draft Joe Thomas because, well, could he play guard? Could he be a right tackle? No. You took him number 3 overall in the Cleveland Browns because you knew he was going to be your left tackle for the next decade, and he was going to be a pillar on that team and one of the best at the position to ever play in the league. When you have the number 1 overall pick, to me, versatility should not even be in your vocabulary. It should be who can we put where and have him cemented there for the next 10 years. You know, whether it's an offensive tackle or whether it's a defensive lineman. You know, like when Von Miller got drafted, or Myles Garrett, prime example, number 1 overall pick. They didn't go, well, we like him. He's a great edge rusher, but what can he do inside? No, you drafted Myles Garrett to play defensive end. Now, once again, he was a byproduct because he's a freak athlete. He's a big dude, so you can move him inside. But that wasn't the get to get Myles Garrett. You got Myles Garrett number 1 overall because he's a great edge rusher. That's how I would approach this draft, especially with the number 1 overall pick. I would not be focused on versatility, especially in the first round.
Yeah, well, listen, I like your take there. This is a conversation we've had multiple times, right, about players like Taven Bryan, trying him at the big end spot early on. It wasn't very good. This is Myles Jack for 3 years, taking him to get to the spot that he was good at, which is the will. This is name your guy. I mean, I'm trying to think of another example, but those are two that stick out to me that did not work. It's not the only examples. And so when you're trying to make or have people do jobs that either they're not accustomed to or not as good at, then you really have to question that. So I don't mind what you're saying there. That was an interesting catch on your point. I get what every NFL coach and player with a minimal roster wants to do is say, hey, if this guy gets hurt, can we move him over here? Or can we do this and this? Well, it's the exact question I'm asking about on the left tackle spot, Austin. What are you going to do with it? You have Walker Little, who by trade's a left tackle. You have Evan Neal, who many project to be a long-time left tackle in the NFL, even though they can maybe play multiple positions. So, and Neal, by the way, has proven that he can play multiple positions. Like, I saw one thing thrown out there, like, hey, could you tag Cam Robinson again, move Walker Little to right tackle, and Evan Neal to guard. And I'm like,
who's saying that?
No.
Who's
no,
saying that so I can...
I just saw it somewhere when I was looking up.
But
some
who?
information.
I need receipts, Brent. I need to go after these people immediately.
Yeah.
What expert said this?
I did not say. I don't know if it was
it's just
more
some guy on
thought
Twitter?
or whatever, right? But that just gives you the idea of who cares if a guy can play 3 different positions. Where's he at the best position, and where does value come in terms of being the number 1 overall pick in the draft for Evan Neal? Like, that's what we asked him a little bit, right, about that flexibility. Are you going to slide Walker Little over there, or are you going to slide your first overall pick to the right tackle spot? Is it that valuable of a position? Well, I think that's what's the conversations in the building have to be all about. So I agree with you, man. I think you got to be very careful to say this guy's really good at a bunch of different positions. Is he? Because the last part of what Trent Baalke said is unless he's really good at one position. Well, my guess is a guy's going to probably be better at one position than he is at the other. So don't you want to put him in a position to be successful and play him at the position that he is the best at? Again, worth saying the Jags have misfired on that concept before with guys like Miles Jack and even Taven Bryan early in his career.
But this isn't even up for debate, though, because it's one thing if it's a late-round pick, okay, and you want to get fancy, so be it. Not the first overall pick. Like I'm not sure in the history of the NFL draft how many times the first overall pick came in and said, hey, you know what? We like your versatility. Try playing in a new spot, or try doing something that we didn't really, bring you here to do, but we just want to see how it works out here. I don't think that's ever happened in the history. Maybe I'm wrong, but very rarely does that ever happen, especially with the number 1 overall pick. You're drafting supposedly the best player. You don't put the best player where he's not really accustomed to playing or where he hasn't played in a while. It just makes zero sense to me. So once again, like if you want to talk about versatility later on in the draft, then so be it. But I can't co-sign on having the first overall pick, and one of the very first things that come out of your mouth is versatility. Like that's what I took away from it, because you're the general manager. You're responsible for the draft. I'm glad that you got the right mindset in terms of you're pushing forward. You don't care what the outside noise is. That's great. I'm glad you're trying to build the culture, re-sign guys. That's great. But you're the general manager, and I take you at your word for what you say about the draft. I didn't like the whole versatility thing.
We'll be back. NFL Combine 2022. We're live in Indianapolis, Indiana, 3 to 6 today. We'll hear from Doug Pederson off to the side as well. Again, this is stuff that you did not hear on the podium. What else Doug Pederson had to say? That's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We talk a little bit of Green Bay with a familiar person coming up. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 rolls on right after this.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Becoming partly sunny today, milder temperatures this afternoon will reach the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Rather chilly tonight, down into the 40s, but a mostly sunny and mild Wednesday. Highs tomorrow near 75. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Compare. Shop Beard's Diamonds.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Just be in control. With free interest checking and great digital tools, Community First makes smarter banking simple. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
Competitors and fans can try free samples of Celsius Essential Energy at the Gate River Run this Saturday. Celsius aims to inspire those who want to live fit by providing a sustained energy source that's specially formulated to work with your body to help you reach your goals. Try delicious sugar-free flavors like mango passion fruit, tropical vibe, and grape rush. Stop by the Celsius Essential Energy booth at the finish line for free samples. Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
The Big Ten is up, and you know what that means. Get ready, get set, go to Arlington Toyota for the Ready, Set, Go event going on now. Leave it to our friends over at Arlington to have over 500 new Toyotas available with inventory arriving daily. You also get a lifetime warranty plus 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. And with 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 14,000 Google reviews, you know you'll be one happy customer. Don't wait. Shop the Ready, Set, Go event in Arlington's state-of-the-art showroom or online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala is back. Thursday, March 3rd, join Coach Coughlin on the scenic downtown riverfront for culinary delights from 35 of Jacksonville's best restaurants and hundreds of the world's most renowned wines. Go to tcjfund.org/wine.
Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry so you can sell your home stress-free. Skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. When you get a guaranteed offer, there are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Our client Ellie said, "I was so impressed with how easy Mark Spain Real Estate made selling my home with their guaranteed offer." Thank you so much, Ellie. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation, and it's free. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person
I'd
counts.
rather not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
On itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You can unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. And with Rocket Mortgage, you can unlock thousands in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up. So when you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started.
Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
NFL alumni Jacksonville invites you to We Forum Fit Crawl Sunday, March 6th at Jax Beach. Sample 3 fitness classes in one day. Studios and gyms throughout Jax Beach will be hosting 35-minute classes, and tickets are just $30. The post-event celebration takes place at the Seawalk Pavilion, free and open to the public. Come meet former NFL players and cheerleaders, health and wellness vendors, fun for kids, and more. Sunday, March 6th, We Forum Fit Crawl at Jax Beach. To register, go to weforumgroup.org.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I don't know about you, but my car could use a few upgrades. I mean, the 8-inch tear in the driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt has molded to fit it, but I'm ready to move on. My solution? eBay Motors. They've got all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, from seat covers to whole new seats. When I get that new seat, I think I'll put the old one in the living room, right next to the minivan seats, or as we call it, the sectional. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after a mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power, performance, and reliability your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence. Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jax on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
I think for a quarterback, one most important thing, they have to be tough. I mean, they have to be tough, the amount, mental and physical. I mean, the stuff, the stresses they go through, just being able to stand in front of so many different people. Then you look at the physical aspect of it, to be able to take hits, because even if it's perfect, you're going to be hit, and it's a long season. So it's really that form of a toughness and an intelligence, the ability to be able to call play. We have long play calls, and then be able to understand the different defenses you're going to do to get yourself in a perfect play, and then accuracy. Those are kind of the three top ones, and then if you're lucky, you get an athletic guy too. But really, those are the four things that we look for in a quarterback, with a lot of other things that kind of go into it, but that's kind of the overview.
That sounds like Nathaniel Hackett to me. Denver Broncos head coach, former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator, on the staff at Green Bay as well before he landed in Denver. And quite honestly, I'm still not convinced that he wasn't like the Jags' top choice. And who knows, nobody will ever fully give you the rundown of what went on, but I think there's a real chance that Denver swooped in before that second interview for Nathaniel Hackett, or maybe Hackett's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's certainly a plausible scenario, and maybe Trent Baalke in the way of all of that at the end of the day. Brent Martineau here at the NFL Combine 2022. By the way, some big news out of baseball. Certainly looks like the players are going to vote no on that proposal at 5 o'clock was a deadline, or is a deadline. And certainly looks like if baseball keeps its word, Manfred does, that we're going to lose games going into the 2022 season. So more on that as more details come out. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios. I wonder if our next guest has been to the Pickle, Austin. Where's the Pickle again?
That's Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So if she's been to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, first of all, I'm going to ask, why have you been there, Cassidy? And number two, and then I got to ask you, why would you go to the Pickle? But it's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive from Green Bay.
Oh, she hasn't been there yet.
Okay.
She's a newbie when it comes to Green Bay.
I've been through there.
You've been through Eau Claire?
I have been through Eau Claire.
Beautiful area.
It is. It's gorgeous. And I have a friend that lives in Eau Claire, so I would like to go back. But you go through there on your way from Green Bay to Minneapolis.
Good call. She knows her stuff. Yes.
She does know her stuff. How far from Iola, Scandinavia is that?
The
Eau Claire.
Scandinavia.
The Pickle and the Eau Claire, that's like a good 2.5, 3 hours, yeah.
Gosh, man, you're in the middle of nowhere when we make this trip to your hometown, maybe even this summer.
I had 54 kids in my graduating class. You're just finding this out now? Yeah, we had nothing. What do you want
the Pickle
from me?
was closer. I mean, as much as I referenced the Pickle, I figured we'd be able to get there from either Lambeau or your house.
Well, no, it's close in our hearts.
Austin, are you from Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Good old Iola, Scandinavia. Yeah.
There is a ton of Scandinavian influence there, I have found out. Much different from Florida.
For sure.
It's a lot different from Florida.
The pancakes are really thin. It creeps me out.
Hey, what is she supposed to try? What is that?
Oh, yeah, Cassidy. Have you ever heard of lutefisk?
No.
Okay.
I think you just made that word up.
Oh, no. I mean, it definitely sounds like it.
Not ludicrous.
So, yeah, for sure. So lutefisk it's a Norwegian dish, and it's codfish that's been soaked in lye, which you can find lye in like your household cleaning products or hair products. And they soak it in lye, and then they wash it out. They soak it in lye again, then wash it out with salt water, and that helps preserve the fish. And then it turns into this gelatinous blob. You put butter and salt on it, and you're ready to roll. So, yeah, you got to try some sometime.
Yeah, it
How
sounds
about
great.
I just don't say I did.
Yeah, we'll see. Cassidy Hill with us, by the way, who used to cover the Jacksonville Jaguars and covered the Florida Gators for a long time. By the way, I've never seen so many players publicly say hello to a reporter than the Gators players to Cassidy Hill. So
I pay them to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so. You're just much nicer than everybody else in the media, probably down there in Gainesville, which also isn't hard to do, but it still is a nice compliment for you.
Was that shade at Markle?
A little bit, as much as I can provide. So how is Green Bay, first of all? How much snow have you been shoveling?
Hey, Brent, it just snows all the time. Like, it just always snows. I wake up, it snows. I go to bed, it snows. But no, it's pretty, and I love it. I mean, you can't be a fan of football and not appreciate being in Green Bay and walking into Lambeau. Like, I walked into Lambeau the first time and tried not to, like, get emotional and act like a fan, but you kind of can't help it. There's
one of those places.
So much history there. It's steeped in it. It's so cool. The very first game I was sitting there, it snowed. It was gorgeous. And I made a comment to one of the other reporters. I was like, there's no ribbon boards in this stadium. And he looked up and he was like, I've been here for years. I've never noticed that. So it's just one of those things where it's like they've done such a good job of modernizing it while keeping it historical and letting it be what it is, which is all about football and all about the Packers.
Yeah, really a lot like Fenway Park and Wrigley Field who have done the same.
Right.
Cassidy Hill with us. All right, give us the temperature, not real temperature, but the temperature on Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams. Are they staying? Are they going? Is it a daily soap opera up there?
I feel like I wake up every day, and I don't know if anyone else remembers this but me, but there was this old Aaron Carter song called "Oh Aaron."
Well, yes, Cassidy,
glad
I work for a top 40 station, so I'm familiar with Aaron Carter. So yeah,
and like
go on.
during the chorus, the background singers always go, "Aaron, oh Aaron, what are we going to do with you?" That is every day of my life right now with Aaron Rodgers. It's like, what are we going to do with you today?
You have a theme song.
I do. It does have a theme song. You know, he gets super emotional on Instagram, and we have to figure out what that means. I have figured out he is a master at saying just enough and not enough so that everyone can interpret it a different way.
Yeah.
It's an art form. It's impressive. It is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, I think that whatever happens with one will affect the other. And General Manager Brian Gutekunst said today, you know, they are independent situations. They are different situations. They're different players. But Aaron Rodgers has said multiple times that Davante Adams will affect his decision. And whatever happens with Adams will affect what he wants to do. But at the same time, the Packers are sort of handcuffed that they can't do anything with Davante Adams until they know what Rodgers is going to do. And so it's just an endless loop. Rodgers has mentioned the franchise tag deadline enough that it seems significant to him, so yeah. I feel like it should be significant to me. So a week from today, yes, it's March 8th is the franchise tag deadline. The Packers have toyed with the idea of putting the franchise tag on Davante Adams. They don't want to, but if they can't get a deal worked out, they may feel like they have to. A lot of teams weaponize that franchise tag. The Packers have done a good job of like trying not to do that, to always let that be a very last case scenario, which is what it should be in the first place. But Aaron Rodgers has mentioned it enough that I've sort of taken him to mean, and again, everyone can interpret it a different way. Google Translate needs like an Aaron Rodgers translator. I have taken it to mean if you tag Davante Adams, you lose me. And you want to have the two of them together. The two of them want to play together, even though Davante Adams is going to be a free agent. A lot of teams are in the market. Jags, obviously, are one of those teams. But the two of them do want to be together. However, again, I've kind of taken it that Rodgers is holding that over the Packers' head to say, like, if you so dare tag him, I'm walking. And that's his way of like protecting his guy to make sure he doesn't get tagged.
Yeah, it's an interesting route to take. Okay, so we should be rooting in Jacksonville for Rodgers to go somewhere.
And right? for Davante Adams to not get tagged.
And not get tagged. So one take care of the other. How do you think Davante, if let's just say Denver, who's been a likely scenario if they don't stay in Green Bay, gets him, do you think Davante wants to play with Aaron Rodgers as bad as maybe Aaron Rodgers wants to play with Davante Adams? Or do you think money talks because you're a free agent, you can get life-changing money, and the highest bidder wins?
Money talks, but something that Davante Adams has to consider, and something that Davante Adams has admitted to considering, is that he is on a legitimate Hall of Fame track here. He has the numbers. He just has to get the longevity. And I saved a couple of the numbers just to make sure I got them right because it's so impressive. Davante Adams is the 6th receiver in NFL history to have at least 600 catches, 8,000 receiving yards, and 70 touchdowns in his first 8 seasons. The only other ones who have ever done that, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Harrison, Larry Fitzgerald. That's all Hall of Famers plus Larry Fitzgerald who will be.
Yeah.
And so he's on a legitimate Hall of Fame track here. You can't just go somewhere that's going to pay you the most money if there's not going to be a quarterback there that can help you. And you know, I think if you go somewhere like, for example, let's just hypothetical say he went somewhere like Jacksonville, that could end up being the case with Trevor Lawrence. I saw Trevor Lawrence play enough to feel like he could be that quarterback for Davante Adams. but it may take him 2 or 3 more years. It may take the Jags 2 or 3 more years to build around him. Davante Adams will be 31 this year. He doesn't have 2 to 3 years. He needs to finish off this Hall of Fame resume in this season, next season, and maybe the next if he's still in good shape.
Yeah.
He's winding down his career here. And so going somewhere with a quarterback that can get him the ball like Aaron Rodgers does and that can put him in a situation to make these insane plays. And a lot of credit goes to Davante Adams as well, and we'll get on that in a minute. But having a quarterback that can help his game like that, I think is just, if not more important than the money, because something Davante Adams said after a game this January was, every time I step on the field, I think about the Hall of Fame. Am I playing like a Hall of Famer? And so, of course, you want to get paid what you're worth. You deserve to be paid what you're worth. But that gold jacket means just as much, if not more, to him than the payday.
Austin, what you got?
Cassidy, what has been your vibe, I guess, just from the fan base in general? Because if you talk about Packers fans, you're talking about an embarrassment of riches at the quarterback position. I mean, I grew up with Brett Favre, and then you transition from what he was to now Aaron Rodgers, and, being one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, and Brett Favre respectively as well. I mean, is there a sense that the fan base still wants to retain Rodgers because they're on the cusp of possibly going to a Super Bowl, a couple plays away here, a couple plays away there, and maybe they do go to a Super Bowl again? Or is it to the point now where it's like, all right, there's still some sort of fracture here. Let's try to get as much draft capital as possible, and now it's time to move forward and start rebuilding this whole thing?
That's an interesting question, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's a little bit of like, I think last year was more of, hey, we want him back for another year. We still have a chance at a Super Bowl. This is our time to chase it. Right now, there's a little bit of a disconnect, and it's not so much even the, hey, there's a fracture in the front office with Rodgers, let's get draft capital. It's more of, we've had 30 years of some of the best quarterback play the NFL has ever seen and have 2 Super Bowls to show for it. Is there something wrong? Is the quarterback, who is incredible during the regular season, the issue during the postseason, where he has a game like he did against San Francisco? And it's so weird to say that when you watch Rodgers play, because he is otherworldly. But there have been issues consistently in the postseason.
Yeah.
And if it's not one thing, it's another. And so I think the fans almost feel, from the ones that I've spoken to and the ones that call in and give us their questions on the podcast, there's almost an issue of, or there's almost a feeling of, maybe this is just done. Let's thank him for his time and see what else we can find. That being said, they don't want it to be Jordan Love. they want another quarterback. This is a bad quarterback class in the draft. This is a bad free agent quarterback class. So I think, and it sounds weird to say, they would settle for another year of Rodgers. They know that Rodgers is their best shot right now, and they do still appreciate him for everything he's done. But like I said, it's been 30 years of the best quarterback playing 2 Super Bowls. You would think you would have more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as far as the draft capital, that's a sore subject with Packers fans, I have found out in the past week, because when Brett Favre, that whole situation happened, there was such a contentiousness between he and the front office that he ended up getting traded to the Jets for a compensatory pick. And so they got nothing out of it, basically. And it was simply because they wouldn't trade him to the Vikings, who were ready to give up the farm.
Yeah.
And so the anger there kept them from getting the draft capital he was worth. Will that be the situation with Rodgers? Based on everything that they're saying, it wouldn't be. And I think a lot of that is because of what happened with Brett Favre.
Well, you got to be careful, too. You maybe do want one more year. You get rid of the legends. Look at San Francisco, right? They went Montana, Young, and then what? For a long time, trying to replace those guys. You look right here in Indianapolis, you go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and now they don't know if Carson Wentz or whoever else. So what's on the other side of that door is not necessarily a good thing all the time. So we will see what happens.
Greener.
They certainly look like they're the domino in what could transpire over the next couple of weeks in free agency. It all starts in Green Bay. I think you're at the epicenter of it.
Whatever happens with Rodgers will affect whatever happens with Adams, and that'll affect what 6 other teams do.
Yeah, I think you're right. And maybe other quarterbacks like Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or whoever else.
Right.
Cassidy Hill, follow her at Cassidy G. Hill from PG Packers News and Journal Sentinel. Glad you like it up there other than the snow.
No,
maybe
right?
We'll see you, by the way. We may, Leroy Butler going into the Hall of Fame, we may take a trip up to Lambeau in the summer.
That's
to
when
do a
you
story
need to
with
see
him.
it.
So,
Exactly.
And then we'll go to the pickle, right, Austin?
Well, yeah, Cassidy, if that's the case, we're up there. I'm bringing you to my grandma's house. We're going to try some lutefisk, all right?
I'll watch you try it.
Okay. Well, don't let my grandma know, because my grandma's going to be upset.
She has to try it.
Upsets my grandma.
You got to cut the deal right here.
She's a sweet lady now.
You got to say yes. You have to confirm it. We have it recorded.
It's too late.
Too late. Too late. Cassidy Hill, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys.
Have
so
fun
much.
at the Combine. We'll be right back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, live on the road in Indianapolis at the NFL Combine.
Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Life can be shattered in a moment. When that happens, you need a big law firm to fight for you. We're America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Competitors and fans can try free samples of Celsius Essential Energy at the Gate River Run this Saturday. Celsius aims to inspire those who want to live fit by providing a sustained energy source that's specially formulated to work with your body to help you reach your goals. Try delicious sugar-free flavors like mango passion fruit, tropical vibe, and grape rush. Stop by the Celsius Essential Energy booth at the finish line for free samples. Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenball. Weather here is unique. It can be bright and sunny one minute and then a downpour the next. That's why mornings are when you need us the most. So you can plan your day, no matter if you're getting ready to go to work or working from your living room, getting the kids ready for school or ready for lunchtime. I'm on TV explaining how weather is going to affect your day and night ahead, so you're prepared for anything. I'll get you ready on Action News Jax this morning.
This is Robert Palmer, president of RP Funding. With home values at an all-time high, it's a great time to turn your home equity into the cash you need and get a closing cost credit from RP Funding. Visit rpfunding.com.
Terms and conditions apply. Unless 7168 equal housing.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples.
To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has.
Also possible because your local Staples store has the tools, tech, and furniture you need to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to $100 on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 3/5. In-store only while supplies last.
First Coast Honor Flight in Jacksonville invites you to get involved. You can help Honor Flight take World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War veterans on the trip of a lifetime. They escort senior and critically ill veterans to Washington, D.C. for a day of honor and reflection. Honor flights are free for veterans, thanks to generous community support. 2 flights are planned for 2022, but First Coast Honor Flight needs your support to make them a reality. Go to firstcoasthonorflight.org to donate and learn other ways to help Honor Flight fly.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select the right products for your vehicle and your budget. Like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Save money on your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tobacco-Free Florida has many free ways to help you quit nicotine. From free 2-week starter kits of quit aids to free cessation services like Phone Quit and Group Quit. We're even trying out new motivational tactics.
You're the greatest quitter. He's tobacco's greatest quitter. He's tobacco's greatest quitter of all.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about Carson right now, and I don't have a direct answer for you. We're working through it. Jim, Mr. Irsay, and Frank and I will sit down over the next 10 days and figure out where it's going. But ultimately, we'll do what's best for the team, for the Colts, both in the short term and in the long term.
That is Chris Ballard, the GM of the Indianapolis Colts, and we've got a very short segment here from the NFL Combine. So I ask you this. Carson Wentz still a Colt when we start the season, Austin, or what?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I don't think so. I think they try to move in a new direction. Whether they get that accomplished, I'm not sure. But, see, this is such a slippery slope because you have to be careful what you say here. Is Carson Wentz the guy for the job in the future? Well, probably not. But you can't get to the point where you offend him because if he does come back next year, well, then how awkward is that going to be? So you kind of have to tread lightly in how you answer these questions and how you go about this whole process.
That's a really good point. You can't throw him underneath the bus, and then he's end up as your quarterback, and you can't take that stuff back.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I kind of think the way they're talking, man, they've been very open about really self-criticism about what went on with Carson Wentz, that I feel like they will do anything they can to move on. Like, it almost, the way they talk feels irreparable in a sense, even though it probably shouldn't be to that degree.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of guessing that he won't be there, and they will find some other alternative, some way, shape, or form. I think there'll be enough avenues to go down. Remember now, Colts have a lot of money at their disposal, but they also have a core of a team that they think can win right now. Mm-hmm. And so that's a pickle spot to be in for Ballard, because it's like, are we going to waste another year with Carson Wentz if we're really not sure he's the guy? Tough spot maybe for the Colts to be in. All right, football at 5 coming up. Our conversation with Doug Pederson. Again, you might have heard some of these things on the podium, some quotes, but what we're giving you here today on the show, we just had Trent Baalke off to the side with a couple of local reporters. We do the same with Doug Pederson. What Doug Pederson had to say about this organization, working with Trent Baalke, and what's been going on since he got hired. That is coming up, football at 5, when we come back from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, Indiana, on ESPN 690.
If you've been involved in a slip and fall accident and are not sure what to do, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville. Do you know why you see so much camera footage of crimes? Wasn't the camera supposed to deter the crime in the first place? That's because they weren't safe touch cameras. You don't want to see someone breaking into your car. You want to see it before it happens. That's what safe touch cameras do. They alert you via text or video notification beforehand, giving you time to react to the situation. And safe touch cameras have 24/7 video storage in the cloud, the safest and securest way to store important events that only you, the safe touch customer, control. And here's the best news yet. You can get the safe touch surveillance system with 3-color cameras, 24-hour recording, secure storage for as little as $39.95 per month, including 24/7 service, cloud storage, and camera warranty. Camera installation is additional charge. This system will work with any security system or no security system at all. Or bundle the 2-way communicator package for additional savings. Find out how you can get a free survey and demonstration at safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Men suffering from ED or PE? Has Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center is featuring Restore Wave, the latest in non-invasive ED treatment. You'll see results on your first visit or pay nothing. Call 904-618-3497. That's 904-618-3497.
We are live here in Daly.
Wednesday, March 2nd, All Elite Wrestling is coming home.
The hottest ticket in town.
The countdown to Revolution is on.
It's going to be a wild and crazy, unpredictable night, I can tell you that.
Will you be there live when AEW Dynamite returns to Daly's Place in Jacksonville?
Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, my God.
The best in the world, CM Punk, MJF.
But I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hangman Page, Adam Cole. Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Dr. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Darby Allin, the Icon Sting.
This is Sting!
And all your favorite AEW stars will headline this amazing night of elite professional wrestling action. Don't miss one of the most important shows of the year. Be a part of the AEW Live experience at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTix.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. MLBPA players' leaders agreed unanimously not to accept Major League Baseball's final proposal. There will be no deal on a new collective bargaining agreement before the league's deadline. MLB has threatened to cancel March 31st opening day without a new deal. The sides now return home and determine the next steps for returning to the negotiating table. NBA, no Kevin Durant for the Nets tonight. Teams hoping he'll return from that sprained MCL Thursday or Sunday. Even though Brooklyn's dropped 14 of 17, is 8th in the East, they're still the betting favorites to win the conference. ESPN NBA senior writer Brian Windhorst.
I think if you have a team with Kevin Durant on it, anything is possible. If you told me that the Nets were in the finals, I wouldn't try to talk you out of it. I just think there's so many preposterous variables with this team. It's hard to see how it all aligns.
Brian Windhorst on Greeny. Among those variables, Ben Simmons' health and the fact that Kyrie Irving can't play in home games due to New York City's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. From ESPN's Adam Schefter, 49ers QB Jimmy Garoppolo expected to undergo shoulder surgery soon. He'll still likely be traded this month.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I don't think this is reflecting leadership. I think, listen, it's not about what you do or what you say. It's how you do it. I don't think that he's going the proper way. And I think he's panicking because I think he feels like he wants to get paid. He's underpaid. And I think he just has to wait his turn. I think he's being passive-aggressive. You know, you get more bees with honey. I think he should go about it and he should handle his negotiations this early. Now, listen, if it gets bad, you know, I think that maybe you go out and you take it public. But to go public this early, I think is a desperation play right now.
That is Bart Scott on ESPN. And the Kyler Murray thing, I feel like Kyler Murray took more heat than I expected him to take, to be honest with you, in the last 24 hours. I thought more people would be on Kyler's side. I thought I don't think this was well received, though, across the country. Did I read that right, Austin?
I would say so, yeah. I think people were kind of baffled by it a little bit.
Yeah, almost to the point where, like, easy, dude.
Yeah.
Do a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of what I said when I first read it, but I didn't know if everybody else would have that.
Yeah, and I'm also going to need Bart Scott to chill out with it. You can catch more bees with honey. It's, you know, pollen and nectar, but it's okay, though. I can't let it fly, Brent. Can't let that one just go past me. I had to call him out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to get that right.
Yeah.
If it comes down to bees,
yeah.
I know.
This show has a reputation, and I plan to uphold that reputation.
That's right.
Regardless of who it is.
I believe in you.
Okay, Stuart. That was a Stuart Weber pun, everybody.
Just for Weber, who's sitting right here.
I bet.
Brent Martineau here at the NFL Combine. An hour to go. Football at 5. Back in the we'll be down at Tivoli's House of Cards tomorrow, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. So we're all over the place here this week. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz in the Action Sports Jax studios. Casey is out after today, getting married. Do we have any advice for Casey? I don't want to leave this part out of the show. Like, any marriage advice for Casey as he gets going here? Austin?
I mean, I've only been married for 3 years, so I feel like I'm like the last person to give you advice on a lasting marriage. I mean, I plan to see this thing through, finish the race, if you will. I would say, well, I mean, what? That's the goal. I mean, have you seen divorce rates these days?
It's crazy.
Hey, you think inflation in the housing market's bad? Check out those divorce rates. Go on Facebook. It's a disaster on there.
The pandemic did not help.
No, not at all. I'll say this, Casey. I think who said this? I think my mother-in-law said this to me. I don't know. Somebody said it to me. It must not have been that important. But I'm going to say it to you. Never go to bed angry.
Very good.
All right.
Yeah. But then, like if she's in the hospital, like if she works at the hospital, then she gets off late, well, then sometimes you have to go to bed angry. There's all you can do about it. I'm not saying that happens to me, but I'm saying, it's a great sentiment, but like it doesn't always work that way because we have different schedules. Not saying that's us. I'm just saying that can happen. So sometimes you have to go to bed a little angry, And then sometimes you have to get up the next morning. You have to hash it out the next morning when you're still tired from the night before because you went to bed a little angry. Not saying that's me. I'm just saying sometimes that happens. So take that for how it's worth, Casey.
Sometimes.
Thank you.
How about should you go to a sparring session angry? Yes. Yes, you should.
Absolutely.
I don't have any sage advice, man. By the way,
how long have you been married for, man? Come on, give us a little nugget.
Yeah, but everybody's different. Like, I'll be married 23 years in May.
Let's go.
I mean, July. May's my birthday. July's our
Open the playbook and give us something then. That's a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's what I was thinking about this a little bit, a very little bit. So I have two thoughts. One is it's too late. He's getting married on Sunday. So, like, some of these things that you might have to clear out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're going to negotiate this stuff over the next few days say it's off. Like,
no,
it's too late.
You're pot committed.
Anything, we probably should have given you some more of this advice like a year ago.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember telling Steph, like, when in college I played baseball, obviously, I had to go to school, all that stuff, and she had stuff going on. She was, like, in theater a little bit, too, and she was playing volleyball, and I was at the radio stations late at night doing a lot of things because I couldn't do TV as much because of baseball. And I remember telling her one time, I was like, listen, like, we had been together a couple of years by then. I was like, if we're in for the long haul, just to let you know, like, this is the way it's going to be. Like, the business is crazy.
Oh, give her that Skip Bayless treatment?
Well, I was just telling her, like, listen, it's not going to be like some 9-to-5 job. We're going to have, like, weekends, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So, like, I told her pretty straightforward.
Okay.
That's just the way it's going to be. Hope you don't mind. And I will say Steph is awesome at that. Like, she is the greatest when it comes to that. It's hard in our business that way. I would assume it's hard in, like, coaching businesses and other businesses too, but it can be really challenging, especially early on family-wise. Like, I mean, we moved to places where Steph didn't know anybody, and she was, like, by herself, like, most of the time. While I'm working, going to cover things,
Casey, I hope you're writing this down, man. Don't go to bed angry and don't get too comfortable.
Don't get too comfortable.
Awesome.
And by the way, hey, here's the other thing. My first year, this is the greatest thing was Steph, like, saved us in our first job because I would have made about $8,000 total that year.
Okay.
And she was a teacher full time, making $21,000.
Nice.
So there you go.
Casey, putting the team on her back.
Casey,
I respect
know
that,
how much. I know how much you make.
Yep.
You better appreciate Amanda.
I've told you that before. I wouldn't work here if I didn't have Amanda.
That's right. So I've been there before, though. So you can make it work.
Yeah.
No sage advice. Here's my biggest advice. I was seriously thinking of this. The wedding day. How many people? How big is your wedding?
Not big. Like 30 people.
That's fine. That's cool. I forget how many people we had, but it wasn't like 400 people, right? I mean, it was bigger than 30. And I still can't, by the way, find out the open bar tab because we were coming out of college and baseball team and volleyball team both were there. So. Oof. Open bar tab. I still have not heard from my father-in-law on what that was, but I would like to know. But I would say this: it was like the greatest day. The kids have been born, so that's really supposed to be the greatest day. So that was the greatest day. But it's like the greatest day because you have so many people that, like, or the people that you know that are close to, like all right there on the same day. And so it's very enjoyable. I think that's small or big. Now, some people I'm sure have disaster weddings. You guys will have a good wedding. So I would just say enjoy the day. You're going to be a little nervous, but like it's going to be a very memorable day. 20-something years later, it's still like one of my favorite days of all time. So
Nice.
there you go. Enjoy the day.
Nicely done, Brent.
On Sunday.
Nicely done.
I'll try my best.
And what are you doing between now and then? So you guys are leaving tonight. You're getting married in North Carolina, right?
Nah, bro, we ain't leaving tonight. I'm trying to get away from you guys as much as possible. So tomorrow,
Okay, well, I've been gone for a couple of days. But
yeah,
okay, thank
well,
you,
mostly
Casey.
Brent. I've
Yeah,
been
there it
stuck
is.
with Brent a lot.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
Hey,
I'm.
It's been 23 years for my wife.
That's true. Tomorrow, I'm going to Orlando to the PGA Tour event. Going to hang out there with some friends, and then we leave on Thursday morning when the sun comes out.
Nothing like a bachelor party at the PGA Tour event.
Oh, yeah, dude, did you have a bachelor party, Casey?
No.
Are we
not
going to
really.
have one? I mean, I say
That's
we,
a
like,
little-
I'll plan it for you, but.
It's a little late, huh?
No, you can just have it after. It's cool.
Maybe you can put something together then.
Seriously?
Yeah, we
I mean,
probably should.
I'm not going to put anything together. So
Okay.
if somebody else does, I'll show up if it.
Well, I
it
just want to make
works with
sure
my schedule.
that your soon-to-be wife is cool with that. I mean, I'm not gonna throw the kitchen sink at you or anything, but
yeah, I'll double check.
I'll take it to the gauntlet. Okay.
Hey, Austin, didn't Kuz get married in North Carolina too? Like he got married like 3 different times or something. because of the pandemic, but-
Which one? I think he got married on Zoom as well. No, I think it was North Carolina. Yeah.
So we got both are 2 producers in the history of the show.
Yeah.
Both getting married and both in North
It's a
Carolina.
beautiful spot. I love North Carolina. A lot of good breweries over
bizarre.
there. Casey, you a beer guy?
Can be.
Well, enjoy that, man. A lot of good breweries.
All right. Well, enjoy the wedding and the week. And whose autograph are you chasing tomorrow?
Probably Rory.
All right, Rory, get him. Maybe you should have a sign. Be like, I'm getting married this weekend. Will you sign
And I'm
my...
here instead.
Yeah, that'll help.
Seriously. Like, I should be... This is my bachelor party. Rory, will you sign? You should do it. Come on. Make it happen. Maybe that's how you get it.
Well, the question is, I mean, save some for the players, though, too, man, because you get some pretty access for the players. No, seriously.
Yeah,
the
true.
Players' Championship, you get good access. Remember when I called Ricky Fowler a swagger hound to his face and he acknowledged me?
He did.
Now,
Yeah.
I might have been a little, a couple barley pops deep at that point, but he acknowledged me. He heard me. He was impressed.
Very good. All right. Well, good luck to Amanda and Casey. Congratulations to you guys if you get to Sunday. Hopefully you get to Sunday. And then beyond. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. All right, let's hear from Doug Pederson. Doug, so we did this at 4 o'clock. I just want to reset it. We're here at the Combine, Pederson, Baalke talk. They talk on the podium, but then there's only like 3 locals here and local media. And so we got them off to the side for about 10 minutes. And Mike DeRocco from ESPN, John Reed from Florida Times Union, and myself. Here's the interview with Doug Pederson today at the Combine.
What are you bringing back?
Yeah, honestly, it's early right now. I mean, we're in that still evaluation phase, right? I mean, we're evaluating our free agents, obviously free agents around the league. This is the first time for us as really coaches to put our eyes on some of these, draft picks and stuff like that. So, we're early in the process, and we'll do the best for the Jags, moving forward.
Some coaches didn't come. Did you guys think about that, given how late you got hired, or is that a trendy thing now, or did you feel like you needed to be here?
It's hard to speak for other teams. I wanted to be here, personally, and I wanted my staff to be here just to be around and see these guys. Again, I got hired late, put a staff together. Now we get down here, evaluate our roster, evaluate free agents. Now we're here to evaluate, the kind of the first wave of the draft picks for us. So I'm excited that our guys are here.
I don't say this in a questioning way, but what have you guys been doing since? Like, what is like right now of like these 2 weeks after you put that thing together? I mean,
yeah,
it starts rolling quick.
It's been about 3.5 weeks for me, on the job, and in the first couple of weeks we're putting the staff together. But as I got staff members in the building, it was all about evaluating our players, on the roster. Not only the guys under contract, but also the the UFA type guys, that we had to evaluate. And so we're kind of finishing up that process now. Even when we get back, from this week, we'll put some final touches on that, and then, again, starting to evaluate the draft picks. And then on top of that, we're X's and O's, right? We got to put our schemes in, offense, defense, and special teams. So we've been pretty busy for about 3.5 weeks now.
Would you say the relationship between you and Trent Baalke is going even better than you expected it would be at the early point?
I mean, it's been going really well. Obviously, anybody would say, you're in that honeymoon phase, but you know what? I'm all about moving forward. I'm all about, formulating my opinions, and probably Trent's probably the same way with me. And the only way we get to know each other is spend time together, and we've been able to do that, for 3 weeks now, 3.5 weeks, and been obviously very open and honest with each other, and very transparent. And I think it's a two-way street, and it's been very good. We've talked a lot about our roster, and really we've talked a lot about non-football things. So again, that's the only way to get to know each other, and it's been going really well.
Is there a relationship between how it ended in Philly for you, and obviously Trent's gone through some battling times either here or even at the end in San Fran? I mean, does that unite guys like you? Or? I
mean, I think it's possible, but I think for both of us too. I mean, we're so focused on the future and how we can add value and talent and really making this a really good place to work every single day, and for not only for the players, but for even folks in the business side and the marketing side and ticket side and all that, and that's our focus, moving forward, and we learn from the past, but we keep pressing on.
Does structure matter to you?
Structure?
In terms of, Schott came out today and said he's pausing the executive vice president, and do you guys have enough, I guess, right now with you and Trent kind of pushing all the buttons?
Well, I think one of the things that I'm, proud of, I guess, or the fact that Schott has given Trent and I the support to and what he's seen in just in less than a month, and how we've worked and interacted together, and I think that's important to the growth. Not to say we can't add more personnel or somebody that can help us along the way, and those things are always going to be addressed. And we just feel like ownership has put that back in our court, and what he's seen and how Trent and I have worked, as we were talking to just a few seconds ago, I think is important. And if we move down that path of hiring an assistant GM or somebody of that nature, it's somebody that's going to add value to us in the personnel side.
When did you go all in on analytics? Was that a gradual thing for you?
Well, it's for me it was relatively new, and really analytics to me, you use what is sort of tangible, what you can use, with your roster, with in-game decisions, with a lot of different things, and it was probably during the year, the Super Bowl year in Philly in 17-18 that it really started to take on its own life of its own a little bit that year, and every year you just learn and you take all the information and see how it applies to you.
Linder, in his last year, you guys just re-signed Shatley yesterday or in the last couple of days. Do you feel like you're set for 22 at your center position?
I'm very comfortable there. Love the fact that Linder's a veteran guy and he's played a lot of football games, and it was unfortunate with the injury last year and all that, but having Shatley back gives you obviously depth and value there, and those are all things that, again, with this time, this is the things that and as we said with the free agents, hopefully we can get all back, but the nature of the business is we're going to lose some, we're going to gain some, but that combination is good right now.
What would you say position-wise you need to upgrade? Can you say?
Look, it's hard to go position by position. I think you just got to add value to your roster anywhere. And again, that's what the combine's for. That's what free agency for, and you try to get the best guys available that fit who you are.
You share what Trent said. He said that this team, the franchise, doesn't have enough second contract guys. You need to build from the ground up instead of bringing in.
It's so important. It's so important. If you look at other teams, I mean, that's what they do, right? They draft guys and then they extend them to stay on their teams, and that's what we have to get to, in Jacksonville, and kind of grow our own, in Duval, as they say, and keep our guys here.
You look at, it used to be like quarterback, defensive end, left tackle would be that blue chip top 3 pick. You almost had, if you had the number 1 pick, you had to take like one of those positions. It felt like. Has that changed? Right tackle, is it as important? I mean, look what Tristan Wirfs has done in Tampa. Or, I mean, is that as pigeonholed as everybody's always made it to seem when you're picking number 1?
It's hard. There's so many options at number 1. I mean, you could pick, you could trade, there's so many things you can do, right? And you know, the one thing that we're going to do is when we approach that and we get closer to, you know, that deadline, is obviously we're going to make the right decision for the Jaguars.
Do you have an update on James Robinson? I know that he's at Travis Etienne was a little ahead of schedule.
James is doing well. Obviously, he's still rehabbing and getting himself in position to help. You know, it's still kind of early. You know, because the surgery was right here at the end of the season, so he's just a few months out, but doing well.
Is there a level of concern when you get both of you guys, big running backs, coming back from pretty serious injuries, foot injuries?
You know, I'm not as concerned because we know we're getting both back, and at some point we'll get them both back and out on the field. But you know, again, that's an area that we have to look at, and you know, we got some young guys on the roster that we're going to give some time to this off season and training camp, and you know, get ready for the season that way.
You got any idea how many guys you're interviewing here this week?
Well, I know that we got 45, you know, formal interviews, you know, scheduled, and then all the assistant coaches are going to be doing all the informal stuff. So we'll tackle quite a few guys this week while we're out here.
What do you take? What is that process? What do you take with that all that information? You guys just go back next week and put it in a database, start having discussions? I mean,
well,
what is that like?
Yeah, it's, you know, the coaches will build a report in our system, and we'll have all the information there, and then go back and start putting the tape, you know, together and just matching up the data with what we're seeing on film, and you know, it's just all part of the evaluation process.
You have a bunch of former quarterbacks on your staff. Is that coincidental or purposeful?
Most of it's purposeful. I look back at my time in Philly around Carson Wentz his first couple of years. We had some quarterbacks around him then, and I think with Trevor's development, it's good to have guys that have played the position, and you know, guys that know how to coach it and teach it, and it'll be great for his development.
You take a look at the fifth-year option kind of stuff yet on a guy like Josh? I mean, I know it's not till May, but is he a candidate for that, given what he means to the organization?
Again, those are decisions that we'll make moving forward. But you know, yeah, those are things that we'll have to consider. You know, as we I think move along in our process and how we evaluate our roster, and again, it's all part of trying to keep our guys here. You know, and having them into those, you know, long-term contracts.
It's really interesting. You got Cam, obviously you guys have had. He could be a second contract guy. DJ Chark could too, but you got obviously a lot of options in the front end of the draft too. And is DJ, I think we asked Trent this too, is he a tough evaluation? Because coming off injury, you don't really know what his market might be, even though he's had a Pro Bowl year under his belt too.
You know, and again, that's something we'll have to, when we cross that bridge, we'll have to, you know, see what happens there. But, you know, there's obviously enough history with him, and the things that he has put on tape, you know, for the Jaguars, there's some really good film there, and you know, again, it goes back to, I'd love to have them all back, honestly, you know, and get them. But we also know that this business is driven by the dollars and cents, and you know, we'll make decisions that are best for the Jaguars.
You mentioned something earlier when we were just talking, that even the business side, even people in the building, did you see that when you walked in, that you needed to address them too, based on they've won 4 games in 2 years and trying to sell tickets type of thing?
It's not something I necessarily saw. It's something I wanted to do, you know, and really branch out and reach out. Because I don't know them, they don't know me, right? I mean, the football side does, but the business side doesn't. So I think extending and showing them and connecting all facets of the organization is helpful. We can all be on the same page, and you know, when we have success and the players have success, the whole organization has success, and that's what we're trying to get to.
Did you get a lot of feedback from those people when you talked to them about, thank you for doing this, thank you for making us feel like we're part of it?
You do get some of that, you know, and that's the part that makes you feel good, is that you're doing things the right way, you know, and they feel appreciated, they feel wanted, and what they're doing has value to the organization.
You may not want to answer this, but when you got here, did you get a sense for how dysfunctional stuff was and how much work you had to do to kind of get it back to, I guess, normal?
I didn't really focus a lot on that as much as just extending myself to them. And I'm here to help serve the Jacksonville Jaguars, really, and obviously in the head coaching position. So it's all about moving forward and keeping my eyes on the prize down the road.
Obviously, you don't have enough blue chippers if you only win 4 games in a couple years. Do you see the availability for that in the top end of this draft to get like a guy that's 8 to 10 to 12-year
I think so. I mean, that's what you do all the evaluations for, right? I mean, you pick a guy, I'll say this. Let me go back. We don't want to make a habit of picking first. Let's just say that. I'd rather be picking, the bottom 10, than the top 10 every year. And so that's our goal and that's our mindset. But the guys you do select, in the upper part of the draft are guys that you hope that you can extend and have that second contract, and they're your guys, and they're your guys for forever.
It's a good thing that your training camp will start early. You play the first preseason game at the Hall of Fame. I know that's down the line, but you like the fact that you'd be able to start
I mean,
early?
first off, Tony Baselli, first Jaguar to go in the Hall of Fame, and we're excited for him, and we're there to support him, that weekend, and that's why we're there. But then you look at the football side, and it's another great way to develop and evaluate, kind of your roster. And so we're excited about that. But we're also excited that Tony Baselli is going in, and we get to honor him.
That is Doug Pederson off to the side with John Reed from the Florida Times Union, Mike DeRocco from ESPN, and myself earlier today here at the NFL Combine. So a lot of different topics that you might not have heard at the podium, although I will say I thought Doug was pretty good on the podium too. A lot of the Philadelphia guys asking him questions about the relationship with Trent Baalke and how he landed here in Jacksonville. So you may be able to hear some of that sound. Not only from us in the next couple of days, but probably you were able to get access to that interview that you just heard, the earlier interview with Trent Baalke, you didn't have access to. That was just a few of the local guys and answered a lot of different kind of questions during those side sessions. So if you missed any of it, you can always go back and subscribe to the podcast or YouTube, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Anything revealing for you, Austin Lane?
No, I mean, so some pretty good answers coming there from Doug Pederson. He seems motivated. Seems like he has a pretty good grasp of what he wants to do, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I will say this, though. To me, he feels a little bit reserved right now. And this is a time of year where you're probably going to be skirting some of the things because you're not going to tell everybody what you're doing. But I do think there's a little – listen, it's been so negative around Jacksonville, even us asking questions. I don't think there's any reason that Doug Pederson should trust anybody here in town yet. Yeah. And so I kind of feel like there's still that reserved nature as he's getting to feel everybody else out locally and how this is going to play out, and hopefully some good vibes ahead here in Jacksonville. But we appreciate the time from Doug Pederson today at the Combine, also Trent Baalke as well. And again, if you missed any of it, you can go back and listen to those extensive interviews that you did not hear at the podium here from the Combine on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast as well. The baseball season is getting canceled to some degree. What degree and what's the latest? We'll have that for you coming up next. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Bit on the chilly side tonight under mostly clear skies. Will drop into the 40s, so grab your sweaters and jackets. But a nice Wednesday. It'll be partly to mostly sunny tomorrow, and highs around 75. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Before you buy a diamond anywhere, shop Beard's Diamonds.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations, so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the action Sports Jax Stream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
Hey, remember how 20 years ago I switched to Progressive? Well, now it's the future, and I used all those savings to buy this new hologram phone. Because, it's the future, and everything is holograms now.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like making your laundry and life easier with a Samsung laundry pair with steam technology that eliminates stains and reduces wrinkles and odors. Enjoy savings on top-rated appliances online, in-store, or on the Home Depot app. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid February 10th through March 2nd, 2022. Free delivery applies to orders of $396 or more.
Competitors and fans can try free samples of Celsius Essential Energy at the Gate River Run this Saturday. Celsius aims to inspire those who want to live fit by providing a sustained energy source that's specially formulated to work with your body to help you reach your goals. Try delicious sugar-free flavors like mango passion fruit, tropical vibe, and grape rush. Stop by the Celsius Essential Energy booth at the finish line for free samples. Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
You can rain out baseball. You can rain out tennis. You can rain out golf, but you can't rain out life. Sometimes, no matter how hard it's coming down, you've got to get in your car, brave the elements, and get to those who need you. That's why you need windshield wipers you can trust. You need Bosch Envision wipers. They handle the harshest weather so you can reach life's important moments. And right now, if you buy 2 Bosch Envision wipers at AutoZone, you can save $15 by mail-in rebate. See what matters most with Bosch.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility and save money at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Replace your old wiper blades with a new pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and save $10 now at O'Reilly. Our professional parts people will even install them for free. See better and drive safer with new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts, in-store or online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person
I'd rather counts. not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family
On
time.
itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Just be positive. Your Community First Mortgage champions make sure you get a great rate, a quick close, and can save you about $3,000 in closing costs. Apply at communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course keeps changing right before your eyes. And in order to maneuver it, you need an expert by your side. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PC and tech solutions you need to help you get out in front and stay ahead of the game. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look! An emu wearing sunglasses!
Emu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
During this time, because the owners chose to lock out the players, they have not had an opportunity to sell tickets. We've already heard stories yesterday. Derek Jeter leaves the Marlins because the owner is backing off. The thought that he's going to spend money in free agency in the spring. I don't think the Marlins are going to be alone in that. I think a lot of teams are going to back away because they haven't been able to sell tickets. And you know who's going to pay for that? The middle class of players. They are going to get destroyed. Supply and demand are going to work against the likes of, relief pitchers, first baseman, maybe Anthony Rizzo, where they're not going to get nearly the deals that they may have otherwise expected. And guess what? That's only going to feed into the anger of the players, which is already high.
That is Buster Olney from ESPN. And, the anger exists on both sides, I guess, because Major League Baseball season will be canceled to some degree. Now, not canceled for the entirety, we hope, but opening day is now going to be postponed as they could not come to an agreement on an extended deadline. It looked like we could have been tracking toward a baseball agreement. Not the case. And baseball right now is going to suffer because of it. How much they will suffer, I don't know. I think people overreact to these. But if you read the Jeff Passons and the Buster Olneys, they think it's devastating, catastrophic. I don't know if I feel that way, and that might just because I'm such a baseball fan that I know I'm coming back. Like, it's not going to stop me from watching, in another couple months. But I do think it's a problem right now. Casey, what is the latest? I saw that opening day, no opening day. They obviously didn't get the deadline. And does it look like just the first few games are going to be canceled at the moment out of a 162-game season?
So I believe the number was the first 2 series.
Okay, so up to probably 6 games then we're talking?
Yeah.
At the moment, 6 games, which, again, I don't think would do that much. Now, maybe the idea that they're canceled says a lot more than I think. But if you go from a 162-game season to a 156-game season, it doesn't impact me very much in my estimation, especially in a day and age where we're getting games canceled all the time over the last couple of years because of the pandemic. Austin, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent towards it where it sits right now. If you miss a couple of games, I mean, it is a long, drawn-out season, so I'm not going to lose sleep about it. But it just, it begs the question of how long is this going to progress for? And in doing so, what is that turnaround going to look like in terms of the preparation standpoint of getting these guys ready to play a season?
How about the idea, one of the sticking points, I think, obviously there's a bunch of money and there's a lot of details and really you can get in the weeds on it, but how much the idea of the postseason going from, I think, 12 teams to 14 teams, like players don't really want that. The league does want that. Do you want that as a fan? Do you guys like 14 out of 30 teams making the postseason?
No, I mean, I kind of enjoy the way it is right now. There has to be, I think, a giant emphasis of trying to win your division. It's important. It's why every game, matters towards the end of the year. So I'm not opposed to the way it is right now.
Casey?
Well, I think, didn't they agree on 12?
Oh, did they get to 12?
Yeah, that was yeah, I know. That's the only thing that they did agree on. And that's what they agreed on last night, that it would be 12. And that's why people thought the deal was close when it wasn't. But to answer your question, I think an expanded playoff is better because you have more incentive to win games, and I think those teams that think they're on the edge might actually try versus tank.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem with it, by the way. Like, I get what people are saying when you have like 14 out of 30, but I seriously wouldn't have had a problem. If you'd give me more quality baseball at the end of the year and more teams are involved, I think that has worked in other sports, so I'm not sure the MLB was that wrong on that side of it. But that's not going to happen. I did not see that was finalized, that they had agreed on the 12. My bad there. But so now what? Now they just extend the deadline, keep talking? I mean, Manfred just had a news conference. What's coming out of there? Now do they just like every day postpone 2 more series? Or when's the next time that they might move more of the season back?
Casey, what you got for us?
Well, I mean, it sounded like, listening to Manfred and seeing some of the tweets that have come out, it looks like that they're going to they're going to give it a couple days to not talk. So I don't know where we go from here, but it didn't sound like, hey, we're back in the lab at 9 a.m. type thing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, does it? I mean, just create new deadlines and then talk right up against the deadline. I mean, I get it. That's negotiating a little bit, but, I mean, what are we taking a break for? Either get it done or not. No, nobody wins in this stuff. Again, players, owners, it looks like greed from the outside. I'll tell you who wins in this stuff. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Sure.
Baseball season is on. Home of the Jumbo Shrimp right here on ESPN 690, by the way. And I do like that. Minor League Baseball is not going to be impacted by this, which is great, probably for minor league baseball teams. I think business will be pretty good, guys.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the meetings are concerned, I mean, I think if you run the risk of trying to meet like every other day, you know, that can get drawn out, that can get overplayed, and then you might actually lose a lot more progress than you're trying to make. So I get the whole thing where, you know, you wait a week here, a week there. I mean, by the sounds of it, you know, they're not leaving after 5 minutes or whatever it is. So that's a good start. To me, it just comes down to is can you make enough progress to try to salvage a season? And I'm not sure if they're to that point yet or not.
Yeah, I think they're going to get – do you guys have a good feeling that you're going to get something done?
Casey, I'll let you start out, man. This is your expertise.
Do I have a good feeling that they're going to get something done?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have a good feeling they were going to start the season on time, but
I don't
think this is going to.
You don't think there's going to be a season at all, right?
I'm staying by. I don't think they're going to play. They're so far off. I don't think they're playing.
There's not a chance they'll miss the whole season. Not a chance.
Sounds like a proposition here.
Yeah, I'll bet you anything.
Well, you still have to do your Trent Baalke apology first and then get back to this.
That's true.
Yeah.
Have to do that from here, so is that like tonight?
I mean, it was kind of the deal from the – I mean, once the Combine was in play, it was final, so.
Yeah, it didn't matter like the setting of the apology, though.
I mean, no, I'm sure it's a long plane ride home, so feel free to think about it on the plane ride.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
What's the story, by the way, you were sharing with us? A WNBA team got fined for taking a charter plane?
Yeah, apparently it is against the WNBA CBA that you can't take a charter plane. So they originally it was reported that they got fined $1 million, but it's okay. Everybody calm down. It's only $500,000 that team was fined for taking a charter plane.
That's
what a disaster.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like the teams now that get fined for rushing the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's a fun thing. But you can't have too many fun things because it might be dangerous or competitive advantage in terms of taking a charter plane, I guess.
Well, no, it's just it's taking care of your players, you know, and like they want it to be a fair game, and you know they don't want special treatment for some players on teams and stuff like that, which. Okay, that's kind of a roundabout way of going about things, just because I feel like you should want the best. You know, like if the New York Liberty are the team that's kind of going above and beyond to try to take care of their players, well, then they're setting a precedent. Then other teams should follow that, right? I mean, don't be mad because one team's doing it the right way and other teams are maybe not doing it the right way, and then you're going to punish a team that's trying to do it the right way. Like, I don't agree with that. Now, I understand it's part of the CBA, so it's part of the agreement. It's what you agreed upon as players, so okay, I get it. But we should be supporting teams that want to, you know, fly the charters and take care of their players.
Yeah, and set the new bar, right?
Correct.
Set a new standard. That's not necessarily a bad thing. All right, let's take a break. We'll wrap it up from the NFL Combine here. And a big day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some would say not a great day with the EVP being paused. Final thoughts on that. Plus, we got to get our golf picks in before Casey heads off to get married. And I got to see if I can almost pick a winner again. Gosh, you guys got lucky that Daniel Berger didn't win. So lucky.
How'd he do?
He was leading by 5 shots going into the final round, and then he finished like 4th.
Wait, didn't you have one before that didn't do that well? Or not?
Yeah.
Did I miss a picks?
You did. Somebody picked
cool.
for you. Stewart did.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for text message,
We'll tell you how we did.
No, I don't care.
Well,
I'm sure it
We
wasn't
got a fight going on. We didn't want you thinking about golf.
It was on a Wednesday.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Here at ESPN 690, Brent and Austin have become addicted to sports cards.
Jamar Chase, season's greetings, autograph, 2 of 3. I'm banging. Bang, 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 bang. Tony Montana. Tony Montana. Bang.
That was our best moment.
Dude,
that was our moment.
Join the addiction weekdays from 3 to 6 right here on ESPN 690.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done. And you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Dee Quaranta, founder and CEO of Northeast Florida Women Veterans. Thank you to the players for helping us ensure that our women veterans can excel and have a voice. 7 days to go.
We are live here in Daly's. On Wednesday, March 2nd, All Elite Wrestling is coming home.
The hottest ticket in town.
The countdown to Revolution is on.
It's going to be a wild and crazy, unpredictable night, I can tell you that.
Will you be there live when AEW Dynamite returns to Daly's Place in Jacksonville?
Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, my God.
The best in the world, CM Punk, MJF.
But I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hangman Page, Adam Cole. Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Dr. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Darby Allin, the Icon Sting.
This is Sting!
And all your favorite AEW stars will headline this amazing night of elite professional wrestling action. Don't miss one of the most important shows of the year. Be a part of the AEW Live experience at Daly's Place. Tickets are on sale now and start at $20 plus fees. Go to AEWTix.com.
Tobacco-free Florida knows how hard it is to quit nicotine, which is why we offer different quit options to choose from for free, like 24/7 quit coaches available over the phone and free 2-week starter kits of quit aids. We're even experimenting with 80s pop music.
I'm giving you up, giving you up, giving you up. I'm letting you never come back to smoke. I'll never come back to smoke. I'll never come back. I'm giving you up.
Or maybe we'll just stick to the ways we know work. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com or call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW for free nicotine patches.
The COVID-19 vaccine, there's so much news about it, but what's true and what's not? Before you pass on its protection, get all the facts. Elder Source can help with a free workshop given at your church or organization. Learn how the vaccine works, potential side effects, and where you can get a free one. Encourage your church or organization's leadership to book a free workshop by visiting myeldersource.org/COVID.
Never paint your house again.
North Florida is one of the golf capitals in America, and our customers get to spend a lot of time on the golf course because they'll never have to paint their house again. Book now to take advantage of our spring special, just in time for the tournament. Save up to 25% off, but hurry because our installation schedule is filling up fast. Call Rhino Shield today, 904-519-5055, or find us online at rhinoshieldjax.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Whether on your radio, on your phone, or your smart speaker.
Now playing ESPN Radio.
He's seen guys that's not even going to make the team. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards in a game.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Kyler Murray's history, he likes to take his ball and go home. That's just been the history of Kyler Murray.
How so?
He don't get his way. He take the ball, I got to go home. They didn't let me play. You know, that's that. He comes to the court. They don't pick him. He takes the ball.
But what gives you that impression?
Well, you just look at the history of college. It didn't work out at Texas A&M. The first thing he did was ran and went to Oklahoma, transferred. That's okay. Kids do it all the time. Then he has success at Oklahoma. He's not getting his way at Arizona. The first thing he does is scrub his social media.
Yeah,
then he comes back around and tries to clean it up. But I don't think it's an overreaction. I just don't think so, because he has something called baseball to fall back on.
That is Keyshawn Johnson, Max and Jay in the morning as well, right here on ESPN 690, 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. on a daily basis. A lot of talk about the Combine this week, of course, for just about everybody all over the country that follows football, which is, just about everybody. Brent Martineau here at the Combine in Indianapolis. We will be back in Jacksonville tomorrow afternoon for the rest of the week. We're not staying the rest of the week. This was kind of in and out for us to get catch up with the Jags contingents, and we did that. If you missed any of the show earlier, we played two separate things now. There was a podium availability, which everybody kind of had the ability to hear and see and get. But then there are only a couple local outlets here, and we were able to get off to the side. Trent Baalke and Doug Pederson, ask them a few more detailed questions. And we played that earlier on the show today. So if you missed any of that in its entirety with myself, Mike DeRocco, and John Reed, you can listen back and subscribe on YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Thought it was pretty insightful stuff from both Trent Baalke and from Doug Pederson. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios. We say goodbye after today to Casey Kurtz for the remainder of the week, and he's getting married, and then we'll see him at the Players, of course. Next week is Players Championship week. Austin, one more thought to kind of put a bow on the show today before we get the golf picks to end it as well. On this whole lack of EVP thing. We started the show with it. No executive vice president for now. Shad Khan issues a statement today. They're going to pause that. What does that say about now the structure of the Jacksonville Jaguars going forward, in your opinion?
It says that I think it's the Doug Pederson show, and there's going to be some collaboration, which is a word we are going to hear a lot, I believe, with this organization, with Trent Baalke. And I think that Shad Khan is giving a lot of trust to Doug Pederson of how he wants to run things. You know, you can justify it by saying the culture has changed, the building has changed, all this stuff, but the fact of the matter is the players haven't been in there yet. You haven't had your team meetings yet. You haven't had practices yet. So it's hard to really tell exactly what the culture is going to be like and how much things are going to be turned around. So I just think this is more of a collaboration of Doug Pederson saying with Trent Baalke, hey, we can handle it. We don't need a babysitter. We don't need anybody else. Just let us take care of it. And I think Shad Khan followed suit.
Yeah, I think a little bit, Austin, and I just wanted to talk around the whole thing, and I understand where everybody's mind goes is, first of all, okay, Baalke's in charge, that's bad, everything's bad. The other thing is the criticism goes to Shad Khan. Well, wait a minute, he told us that he was going to look for an EVP, he's going to beef up the structure, they're too flat in their front office, and now it's Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke. So I understand where that stuff comes from, and that might be the right way to go. But I also do think there is a possibility, based on what Doug Pederson told us today in that interview we just played in this 5 o'clock hour as well, that if they need to add more, they will add more. But right now they feel pretty good about it. I just can't help but think of they didn't want somebody coming in here in midstream and maybe muddying up the process of free agency, franchise tagging, the draft. That's a 2-month process that the homework has been done, one by Trent Baalke's staff, good or bad, and also now in the last month or so by Doug Pederson, Baalke, and their staffs combined. And so adding another person and a voice in there, would it be a bad thing? Would it be the worst thing? Maybe not. But I wonder if they just feel like right now adding that piece isn't the best thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I try to think of it from that. Is that one of the reasons why? And could you end up with a situation where there's added structure immediately after the draft, or are they going forward now for the remainder of 2022 with just Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke? And then the other part I think of, as you just said it certainly does feel like the power of this organization, even from an accumulation of talent standpoint, might now lie with Doug Pederson. And we'll see if he can handle that. That hasn't always been a very good formula around the National Football League, Austin. Sometimes you can have too much power, and the coach should maybe just coach, and the GM and the personnel people should pick the players.
Yeah, I mean, but at this point, and we talked about this before earlier in the show today, I think you feel a little more confident right now with Doug Pederson having some input of how this draft is going to shake out, of how these players are going to be evaluated and what kind of guys they want to target in free agency, as opposed to just giving the entire reins to Trent Baalke. And if you don't have an EVP, it comes down to one of those two guys. So is it the most ideal situation? I mean, some can debate yes and no, but I think the fact that, if Doug Pederson does indeed have the final say of it and he kind of has jurisdiction, I think there's worse ways to set things up with.
Yeah, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. All right, Casey, let's get these golf picks in before you go. And Austin, I think you ended up with Billy Horschel, which is tied for 16th. That's what Stewart picked for you, Billy Ho. And 16th, man. That's like one of your best finishes.
No, it's not. And I never pick him back to, like, I picked him a while ago, I thought. So let's go ahead and get those points off the book, because when I come back and win this whole thing, I don't want Stewart trying to take credit for helping me win a championship. So, Casey, you're the auditor. I'm going to need you to strike those points off the record. I don't want them.
Sounds good.
Y'all just text me a simple text message. Hey, who you picking in golf on a Wednesday?
Listen,
we'll get back to you.
We didn't want Billy Horschel or any golfer to get in your mental space.
You had me call the show on Friday.
Well, yeah, that was different. You were talking about the fight. Mm-hmm. Not golf. Like, golf really throws you off. We just didn't think that was part of the formula to go win. And we were right, because you won TKO.
Mission accomplished.
So, yeah, mission accomplished. You can't question any move that we made.
Mission accomplished, yep.
Casey, where we go? We're going to Bay Hill, baby.
Yep, that's the situation. I didn't update the points yet this week. It's been
Don't worry,
busy.
I'm still winning.
Yeah, you are. That's correct. So, yeah, that's the situation, and I guess I'll start.
Okay, so hang on. Can we get a write-up here about the course, south, north, west? What kind of course we talking about? What's going to win it? Temperatures, all that good stuff, man.
Temperatures, bro. It's Florida. Just go outside.
I know, but hey, Orlando's different now.
I don't know the temperature. I don't. Bay Hill is the course.
Yeah.
That's about what. It's a lodge. Does that help?
Yeah, decent. Fast greens or slow greens?
You got to be a good putter.
It's a lodge.
Okay.
Distance off the tee is good. So, long drivers probably.
Okay, long drivers like
that.
And,
obviously Arnold Palmer, the host, where the obviously was the host. So you might want to factor in who would likely drink an Arnold Palmer.
And Bryson DeChambeau is not.
What is this, chalk? Is it amateur hour? No, man, don't worry. I'm a little more in-depth with my analysis, but I appreciate the advice.
Okay, very
All right,
good.
Casey, where are you going? Who are you going with, Casey? You get first dibs since you're getting married Sunday.
I think I pick first every week, but thank you. I will take Keith Mitchell.
Got him. Keith Mitchell?
Keith Mitchell.
Yep.
See, a Georgia Bulldog, I think.
Unconfirmed. Playing good right now. Good there. Good last week. Probably will suck this week. That's my usual go-to. But, yeah, we'll take Keith.
Is he kind of an underdog, Casey? I'll be honest. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone else in the world's picking him but me.
I like it.
Hey, what time are you getting married on Sunday?
Here
5.
we go. He's going to have you call the show.
So if Keith Mitchell, is on the top of the leaderboard and they're coming down the stretch of the Bay Hill, is your mind on your vows? Or Keith Mitchell maybe winning, and you getting in the winners column here are the golf picks.
Probably my vows. It depends. On the golf picks for
true.
here, no, I'm down 3 wins. What are you talking about? If I can still win 2 more. I still lose the whole thing. So not
if
really.
I see a picture, if I see Keith Mitchell in the lead around 5:30, I'm telling you, the pictures from your wedding are going to have a hell of a lot wider of a smile than they would have.
That is fair because he's currently in the DFS lineup. So you might be right.
Oh yeah, so that's good for everybody then.
I got to go back to a long shot because I'm just beating you guys so bad I feel bad.
Chalk.
Last week was total chalk, by the way. You missed that.
It was chalk.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, what are you doing?
Hey, how is Patrick Reed plus 10,000 in this thing? He's been playing bad?
Yeah, he's been playing bad, but.
Well, especially, too, because I don't think he's that great with when there's a golf course with a lodge in it. I think he struggles. Yes. Obviously, Vegas knows more than we do. But I think there might be a lodge. I think there might be a lodge factor in that one. So
there's a lodge factor.
Yeah, so
he's got something lodged.
Yeah, so definitely keep that in mind when making your picks here, guys.
We have some big odd guys here. I mean, holy cow! All right, I'm going to go with how about Ricky Fowler? The rebirth on the way to the Players' Championship for
Casey,
Ricky.
Is that chalk, though? Because I know who that is. Okay, it's not chalk?
No.
Okay.
Is that chalk because I know who it is?
I mean, pretty household name. He's a swagger hound. All right, so I could take the Arnie Palmer thing here, do Arnie Palmer alert, but I'm not going to do that. That's too easy. I think, it's Orlando. You think Orlando, all they got is Disney. You think of Disney, you think of dads who are far too tired after the weekend. So go ahead and give me a guy who looks like he's coming off of a Disney weekend bender with a family, and he just wants to sit at home and watch maybe MMA or football. Well, football's done, so basketball or golf, I guess. Yeah, so go ahead and give me, Jason Day.
Oh, very good.
Jason Day looks like he's
a big name, by the way.
Well, he's tired in this picture, dude. He's very tired.
His golf game's kind of tired lately.
He's looking sleepy, man. This guy needs some 8 hours. He needs his 8 hours in.
Another former Players champ, by the way.
Okay.
Yep, that is true.
Casey, how's that one for a good? Not bad.
If his back doesn't hurt, he'll do well.
Oh, he's got a bad back
for about 5 years.
Classic dad mode. I like
wouldn't
it.
You have wouldn't you have a bad back after a week in Disney?
Oh, you telling?
Too many piggyback rides.
You telling?
All right, hey Casey, congratulations. Good luck. Give our best to Amanda, and have a good week.
Appreciate it.
And we'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30, from the Combine with the latest. A lot of Baalke and Pederson conversation and no EVP conversation today. That's coming up on TV. And we'll be back at it tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Brian Middleton in for Casey tomorrow. Austin, have a good night, man.
Later, man.
All right, we'll see you on TV, folks. Have a good evening. Back at it tomorrow.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue.